Good morning, I'm Eric Reeser. Baseball's trade deadline is tonight at 6. The LA Dodgers finally caught a break, acquiring two-time Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal from the Detroit Tigers in exchange for 3 players. The 29-year-old Skubal will make his Dodgers debut for the defending world champions tomorrow night against the Cubs in Wrigley. Chicago also made a deal before the deadline. Cubs acquired righty Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays. On the field yesterday, the Guardians blanked the Diamondbacks 5-0. Cleveland avoids the series sweep and stays one game above 500. Guardians will welcome the Mets to town Tuesday. As for the Reds, Cincinnati bashed the Pirates 10-2 Sunday. Red Legs took 3 or 4 from the Buccos over the weekend. They'll host the Athletics Tuesday. The NFL's Hall of Fame games Thursday in Canton. On Sunday, Jadeveon Clowney signed a 1-year deal with the Texans. This update is sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co., locally inspired dishes and award-winning cocktails. Visit highbankco.com to make your reservation today. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lamery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Let's do it live on a Monday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. The Big Ten and the SEC flip-flop. Yeah, sort of did. We'll get to that coming up at 9:30. 10 o'clock, we blitz the weekend. 10:30, Bill Bender, the Sporting News, going to join us. Media days are in the books, which means practice is going to start around the country today. We'll talk to Bill where his thoughts are after a long summer. 20 most interesting. We are now in the Big Ten, kids, and we will kick it off with Big Blue, Michigan, on the docket at 11 o'clock. Angelique Chengelis to try to sort out the mess of a summer they've had up there and how Kyle Whittingham is trying to navigate the very choppy waters between it all. But we begin here. Practice starts this week. It starts on Thursday. We will be out there broadcasting live Thursday and Friday. This is one of the cool things, right? Because we get a chance to see this team practice in full for 3 straight days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The collective we, us as a show, and then Reese will be out there on Saturday as well. You can still get in and watch this as well. And it is the coolest thing you're ever going to see, kids, because what you get here is an NFL training camp experience. You get an ability to put your eyes on these guys as soon as we do. And what's really cool about that is in the old days, you would hear whispers about kids. You would hear whether it was a beat reporter who had a source, or you would hear a coach on an off-the-record conversation with somebody, and all of a sudden you'd see names, and you'd hear names, rather, that would start to percolate towards the top and say, hey, watch out for this kid. 10 years ago, it was around this time, I was doing a television show with the guys at 11 Warriors, and we were talking, and I talked to some of the folks that I knew around the program, and I started hearing a name. And it wasn't just from one. It was from a couple of names and a couple of different people who you trust. And you say, well, all of these people kind of keep coming back with the same thing, then you're on to something. And I remember Tim May vividly, specifically Tim May being the first one to say, I've heard some things about a guy. And you say, well, okay. And this starts to stack and stack and stack. And the player's name 10 years ago was Malik Hooker. Now, you thought maybe that Malik had a chance to blossom into a nice player, but that's not what we heard leading up to it. What I heard leading up to it is, watch out for Malik Hooker. He's going to be a superstar. And guess what Malik Hooker did? He became a superstar. He was a consensus first-team All-American, had one of the great single seasons at any position that you've had around here, anytime you're talking about consensus All-Americans. Probably set the standard for free safety play around here in the 1 year that he was here. And was a spectacular player and was everything that everybody said he would be. Who's that guy going to be this year? Who's the guy that we're not talking enough about? Has one of the new guys had a summer? Is Moore having a summer? Is Earl Little having a summer? Those are the type of things that I'm curious to see for myself on Thursday and Friday. Now, we're not in Reese on Saturday. Now, we're not going to be able to draw die-in-the-wool conclusions based on 2 practices that are they're going to be light. But you will see some things. You will see some plays made. You're going to get your first eyes if you're one of the folks who are out there. If you're like us, I can't wait to get eyes on Chris Henry. I've heard great things. I can't wait to see what that dude looks like. And just from a size standpoint, how does he compare to Jeremiah? What does he look like? What type of weapon can he be? I'm curious to see what Julian looks like with the ball zipping off of his hand with another full year of development. So all of those things we will get to see for sure on Thursday, and the blood will be racing. You will get all of the things that starts to happen because, guys, the reality is we are now into August. And football is emphatically across all levels. And nobody in the state of Ohio does Friday, Saturday, Sunday better. Nobody in the country does Friday, Saturday, Sunday better than the state of Ohio. All 3 levels are going. 2 days in high school football, well into that. Buckeyes start Thursday. Browns and Bengals already underway. Ladies and gentlemen, football is here. Football is here, fellas.
I forget which day it was last year, but they're practicing, and they do a good job of not wasting a single moment. Like, everything's choreographed to where guys are jogging to their stations and zebras come out. And I go, well, that's, fun. They can have some officials. Then a Xichigan comes out.
Yep.
And then unannounced to everybody, they just start scrimmaging. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't even tell anybody. They just have it where you've got a Xichigan, zebras, and then 2 teams. And you got real live bullets flying. You're not hitting the quarterback, but you're getting a chance to see something that you wouldn't be able to see anywhere else but for training camp, the spring game, and then September 5th against Ball State. So when you say it's an experience unlike anything else, it's always unique. It's varied. For me, it's Connor Hawkins because they can make if they can be automatic from 35, 40 yards out, watch out. Now, he hasn't made a single kick, but could he be in block out contention? Connor Hawkins, you're our savior, buddy.
The thing I can't wait to hear from you guys and everybody else is who stands out on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Because the offense, I think we know. Sure, we don't know who wide receiver number 3 is going to be and how that pecking order all plays out. And sure, Isaiah West and Bo Jackson, your top 2 running backs, missed spring practice. And there's a battle on the offensive line, but for the most part, the offense we know. We're replacing a lot from this defense, including 3 top 12 picks in the NFL draft. So I'm excited to see who's the guy at linebacker. We think Peyton Pierce is going to be a starter. He's been penciled in there.
Yep.
But who else is it? Is it Riley Pettijohn because he missed the spring?
Did you see, by the way, Big, just to jump in, did you see the picture of him?
I did not. Monster?
Like an action figure?
Good Lord. I mean, holy smokes. Body by Mick did him well. He looks great. They they did like dudes or whatever. They took the picture of the dudes. He was one of the guys in the picture with the dudes that Ryan put out.
So that's 2 guys in that room, Riley Pettijohn and Garrett Stover, that have both gone through an amazing transformation.
Yeah.
What do James Smith and John McDonald look on the defensive line? How does Quay Russaw look, and where does he fit? Who steps out in that? Is Devin Sanchez really ready to make the next step? That's what I want to hear about, is who on this defense is making plays.
Yeah, and who's leading it? Who's leading? I think it's going to be Peyton Pierce, Kenyatta Jack. I mean, you would think they're the veteran guys. Jalen's back, but at the same time, holy smokes, you want to talk about alphas. You can't get more alpha than Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. That's as alpha as it get. So you got some major leadership things that you're going to have to get sorted out as well. And that's where most of the questions will be. And we're not going to answer them Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but we're going to at least get to see it with our own eyes. And I remember the first year we did this, and we had Feinbaum on, as we always do every Thursday at 10:30. And he said, and I remember I said, well, here's what I'm going to describe to you what I see here. And he said, they're doing what? Because no one had done it in the South. No one had done it at that point when Ohio State, and I don't know if people are doing it now, but you're talking about NIL benefits. You're talking about an NFL training camp. And look, it's NFLU for a reason. Everything they do here is aiming towards that. So what we see on Thursday, Friday, Saturday will just go and be an extension of that. Now, we left the show Friday in about as big of a cliffhanger as we've seen. We've never had a second thing as big as I'm going down on bended knee.
And just slid it in so casually.
Just like
so
we're
casually.
up against it.
Friday news dump.
Well, see you later.
Yep.
Well, all right then. See you later.
Big gulps, huh?
Reese, details.
All good. She said yes.
Let's go.
I had the answer going into the test, so
That's smart.
It was kind of cheating. But there were parts of what is going to be a wedding, I guess a whole wedding process that's going to be kind of unconventional. So I wanted little things that were conventional, like getting on the knee in front of her parents and doing the proposal, though she knew it was coming because, we've kind of set up our life over the last 2 years to really just make it to this point and then make it past this point. So I was going to do it at her favorite Argentinian steakhouse on Saturday.
Yep.
Thought about it the whole drive. So we went to Pittsburgh over the weekend and thought about it the whole drive, then asked her parents, hey, should I do this tomorrow night? So this was Friday when I asked, and they both looked at me and go, no, just do it here and figure if you want to do it before or after dinner or tonight. And we were already a bottle of wine down, and another one was being open. And I'm like, all right, well, let me just do it now, because if I wait anymore, nobody's going to remember this. Or it's all going to be very hazy. So we were sitting outside, and I did the trick where I dropped my napkin on. And, of course, when you drop anything, they have a dog, we have a dog, and so both dogs come running. And so there's a little bit of a commotion, and so she wasn't really paying attention. And then when she looked over, I was on bended knee with the ring.
Oh,
she said yes, flowers, applause, kisses, more wine, because we're going to elope on August 20th.
No.
So
we're just
Good Lord.
this up.
Yeah,
Good
pretty.
Lord.
Like I said, unconventional. Our planning went from Miami ceremony next March to bleep it. Let's just elope.
Holy smokes. You're full of surprises, kid. Well, congratulations, buddy. Chris Pine Jr. is off the market. The ladies of the 614 in puddles of tears as you are taken, buddy.
All those upper Arlington females are so
poor
sad
ladies.
right now.
They're broken. They're
Plenty of fish in the sea.
They had their chance. He's off the market. Congratulations, buddy. Sincerely. That's awesome. Very, very cool stuff. We have a lot to get to on the program today as well. We will get into what we expect to see this week at camp. And this big news, let's talk about Friday news dump. Not as big a news as Reese's, but somehow the Big Ten and the SEC now support the Save College Sports Act. We'll get to all of that as we get rolling here on a Monday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Berm, we're a couple weeks from training camp, which means every freshman looks like a future All-American, every position battle has 6 winners, and everybody is supposedly in the best shape of his life.
July, the undefeated season of optimism.
I understand why the players are excited. Camp means the waiting is over. You get the plan, your reps, your coaches, and finally find out what all that work can become.
Honestly, that's what starting Awaken 180 felt like for me, minus the dorm room and somebody blowing a whistle at 6 in the morning.
You stop talking about what you're going to do and start seeing results.
I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, and the inflammation and psoriatic arthritis pain in my knees and other joints dropped dramatically.
I lost 50, then another 5 in maintenance, all med-free.
And when you reach your goal, the entire staff doesn't suddenly transfer.
Free support for life, the backbone of the Awaken 180 program.
Have questions? Ask them. Type Awaken 180 in your phone and simply click to call.
Simple, just like losing weight with Awaken 180.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years.
I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Common Man here for my friends at Care Heating and Cooling. Summertime napping season is upon us. What's that mean? Well, that means for me, a little nap on the leather couch. I got the ceiling fan on, but if that AC's not working properly, that nap turns into crap. Am I right? You got to make sure that AC's in tip-top shape, and the only people to call are my friends at Care Heating and Cooling. The message on their homepage says, we care about your comfort, because they do. If you're not comfortable in your own home, they start to get itchy and scratchy. Here's what you need to know about my friends at Care. They've won the Lennox Centurion Award for 17 years in a row. Now, if you're not in the biz, you don't know what that is, but I'm going to tell you, it's given to the top 5% of Lennox dealers in the country each year. Their service techs are the best in the business, and there's not a problem they can't solve, except maybe the meaning of life. They had no answer when I asked them. But think about living without central AC. Mess you up. My friends at Care also have easy online scheduling. CareHeatingandCooling.com. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Let's all give them room to work. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
Things to know about T-Bone and Tyvis. Bone hates the SEC. Tyvis refuses to drink dark liquids. And they're both big fans of public shaming. Oh, they also host a radio show together weekday mornings from 6 to 9. Listen to it. The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, happy Monday. Lots of sunshine for the remainder of the day. Highs right around 82 degrees, but come overnight tonight, lows in the 60s. It's going to feel quite nice tomorrow morning with lower humidity to start off your Tuesday morning. Highs tomorrow, lots of sunshine right around 86 degrees. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldridge, with 97.1 The Fan.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Ohio State fans, your first look at the 2026 Buckeyes is here. Join us August 6th through the 8th, Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Ohio State football training camp presented by Safe Like Bob's Discount Furniture. Watch practice live, get autographs, take photos with select players. Experience the start of a new season up close. Tickets are limited and going fast. Just $48 for general admission or upgrade to VIP for shaded seating, refreshments, and more. Secure your spot today at ohiostatebuckeyes.com. Don't miss your chance to be part of Buckeye Nation's kickoff to 2026. It's starting to ramp up a little bit, and one of the things that we talked about, the things we're curious about, you want to see the new faces, you want to see the body transformations. You're not going to see a lot. You're going to see 3 practices. It's full practices though, and it's all of it. And so you see body type, you see if speed and strength looks the same as it did the last time we saw guys in the spring. And then the other thing that you just want to see is just kind of the attitude of all of it. You know, what's Ryan's attitude towards all of it? What are some of the defensive, offensive coaches? Arthur Smith's first run out in a training camp. What does that look like as the offensive coordinator at Ohio State? Ryan Day seems to be chomping at the bit here and seems to be pretty happy with what he's seen in the offseason.
I think this year, based on the way our schedule looks and the way it's laid out, we're going to get some early feedback in these games, and we're going to have to play well down the stretch in the fourth quarter. But when you have guys like Julian and our offensive line and Jalen McClain and guys that have been through that before, obviously Jeremiah is a big part of that. Brandon Ennis, Bennett Christian, Kenyatta Jackson, another guy who has been around our program for a long time. Peyton Pierce is going to have to step up in a big way. But they were all part of that. They saw that. They saw the championship run. They saw us coming up short last year. And so all of that will play into this season. And then we have a lot of guys who are coming in for the first time that they need to prove themselves. And that's good, too. Everybody should have the approach they want to prove themselves every day, and we say that all the time. If you start, proving yourself, then you're going to stop to improve. And so we have to have that approach every day at practice, and we got to get better fast, and then figure out where the journey of this team goes, because every year is different. I'd like to sit here and tell you that last year, is similar to this year because of X, Y, and Z, and that'll be the solution. That's not the same because it's a different group of guys, but there are things in place that we've identified that we always want to improve on.
He's right on a lot of things, but he's really right on the strength of schedule. It's jumped up a lot. One of the boys said it to me. I think it was Bootsy. He was playing the NCAA college football, and he was talking about the difficulty of the Buckeye schedule, and he was talking about the games, and he's right. When you talk about at Texas in week 2, there's a stretch that's kind of interesting back-to-back, late September, early October, Illinois here at Iowa. Are those teams I fear? No, but those aren't cupcakes either. Iowa's been a real team. Illinois has been a real team for the last couple of years, and they could turn into 4-quarter games, even though you don't want them. Maryland's not going to be a 4-quarter game. Then you got this stretch at Indiana, week off, at USC, Oregon at home. Kids, that's a college football playoff type slate in 3 out of 4 weeks. You get the one bye week in between. But that is a college football playoff level slate. You finish, of course, then you got Nebraska, Northwestern here, then you're at Nebraska, and of course Michigan here on the last game of the season. You have a lot of to be determines on the schedule in terms of game times. Obviously, 12:30 kick on BTN against Ball State, and then ABC, of course, in primetime at Texas. Kent State solved as well. That's a big noon already. How about that? Big noon already against Kent State on September 19th. That tells you how weak that slate is in the Big Ten, or also the value of the Buckeyes. And then, of course, the Michigan game is big noon as well. I certainly anticipate Oregon being, that Indiana is going to be big noon. I would expect Oregon has a chance to be 3:30. Obviously, USC will be 3:30 or prime time. So those are kind of the broad strokes of what this season could look like. But it's about putting all of this together. And one thing I think we've learned, and we still have the Big Ten teams to do this week on 20 Most Interesting, is you start to get a feeling of like who the contenders are. For example, we did Georgia Friday. Georgia's a contender. They are full-blooded contender. This is a hell of a team that Kirby Smart is bringing back. By the way, do we have an ability? I don't know if the audience picked up on this. Do you guys know that did you guys pay attention to the rejoin that we aired before we had legendary Georgia quarterback Buck Bellew on?
They did the General Sherman.
Yeah, that's probably not ideal.
It's the system, the AI here.
Do we have any way of jumping in front of that, like a man in front of a train?
It heard we were doing Georgia.
Poor guy, come up here, giving us his time. 4-year start at Valdosta High School, winningest high school team in the history of the country. 3-year starter at Georgia, national champion. Still on the air in Atlanta, and the first thing he hears when he comes on is General Sherman marching through the South.
I'm sure he's over it.
No, he might be. The region is not.
I'm hoping for this year, because last season you had that what you thought was a November 1 litmus test.
Yeah.
With Penn State, and it turned out to not be the case.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering when you talk about that back half of the schedule where you've got Indiana, USC, Oregon in 4 weeks, like can all of those please be contenders by the time you get to them?
What do you want them to be?
I do. I think that's what really hurt Ohio State last season, whereas you thought plodding your way through the schedule after Texas, you were going to sit on the football, you were going to reduce time of possession, or you were going to increase time of possession. You were going to do anything with the damn thing, so you're going to decrease the amount of plays that you had through a 12-week schedule to properly prepare your body for what was an extended college football playoff, but it never materialized into actual challenges. until you got to that Indiana game in the Big Ten championship. Of course, the Michigan game was more handling the emotional challenge of it all because on the field, there were two different teams. You saw it with your eyeballs. One team was a serious contender. The other team was, trying to figure out what the hell it was. I think it's going to be different, or I think Indiana, USC, Oregon, those 3 games in 4 weeks are going to be litmus tests. And so you're going to be properly prepared before you go into that game against Michigan on the 20th, and then into what you think is a Big Ten championship game where you're ready to go, where it's not about flipping switches. It's not about, seeing if you can handle the biggest competition in the country. It's knowing it. It's having put that behind you, and it's looking forward to being tested in a Big Ten championship game and in a college football playoff. So I'm looking into Indiana, USC, and Oregon, saying those I would love for them to be 4-quarter games because you're going to need that if you want to succeed in the college football playoff.
The only pushback I would say is, and I don't know this, but as you were talking, I just was thinking about some things. The 2 teams that played for the national championship last year were Indiana and Miami. Were they tested? Did they go through a gauntlet? I ask. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine Miami did. I know they lost, obviously, to Notre Dame. But I think Indiana's schedule last year was pretty
but
easy,
they they were old. And so they had guys that they were 23 years old. Indiana.
They did, yeah.
Kind of put themselves into positions where they needed to, hold on by the Penn State game I think about.
Yeah, the Indiana-Penn State game.
That was something that I think Mendoza
they were
threw
at Oregon, Reese. So to your point, they were at Oregon. Okay. So they had a nice test there. I mean, it's the eye opener is when they beat the brakes off of Illinois 63-10. That was the eye opener for them last year, and then they won at Oregon, number 3, 30-20. Beat Penn State by 3. Other than that, though, it's not crazy. I think it really depends on the team a little bit. It kind of depends on the makeup of the team. I tell you what would be really interesting is if you could do an autopsy of last season. Was it that because I'm with you, and I said this, like I worried about the pace. Like, could they play fast when they needed to? And I thought that they left some possessions on the field against Indiana and Miami, quite honestly, a little bit with their pace. And could they play fast? Because I always thought that would be the best way for Julian to play, would be to play fast and play a little tempo and let's go. They never were able to flip into that gear. And then the other thing that is always in the back of my head is, were they just too wrapped up in the Michigan game? Was their Super Bowl beating Michigan? Like it was something.
The
that was
celebration afterward was
all of it.
Very much like 06.
They were just hammered over the head with beat Michigan, got to beat Michigan. Like, did that end up being their Super Bowl?
I mean, and who knows? We can talk about it a lot, but you were a possession or 2 away from beating Indiana, the national champions. And then with an offensive line that was a little banged up, you played 2 really good pass rushers and a pretty good Miami team. And those Miami pass rushers, it took Ohio State with that line a half to adjust, unfortunately. And then they made some adjustments in the second half. It was a much more even game. I don't know how much any of that really mattered last year with the Buckeyes and whatnot. Like, should they have played faster at times? Probably. But that offense, by the time they needed it, should have been able to flip a switch when they could. They just didn't, and I don't know if they wanted to. I don't know if they coached and really tried to, because they just were playing so well in this mode. They just thought we can keep playing in that mode. So, I don't know. They lost to the 2 teams that played for the national championship, and it's going to be fun to see what kind of adjustments they make this year from the ending last year.
Absolutely. Yeah, and obviously new offensive coordinator in the middle of it with Arthur Smith. So a lot to pay attention to when we get to camp on Thursday. This was kind of stunning. This was late Friday. The Big Ten and the SEC agreed. We'll tell you on what in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Nothing annoys me more than wasting time. Scotty Vegas here, and I want to be golfing or playing tennis or betting on people golfing and playing tennis. I hate waiting on an oil change, but that's all changed. Krieger Ford, the car buying experience was amazing. The service, just as good. I left my Bronco in the driveway and easily scheduled an oil change at KriegerFord.com, and they even came right to me and changed it. All game changer, the Krieger Ford experience. Experience that at KriegerFord.com.
As the the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You know, there's two things I love about Window Nation. Number one, they're going to give you great value. Window Nation windows have a lifetime transferable warranty because they're quality. They're triple checked at the factory. And you're getting a great deal because right now you can get 50% off all window styles from Window Nation. Plus 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 2 years. The other thing I love about Window Nation is they'll get the job done in a day. And Window Nation installers will leave your home cleaner than when they started. Minimal disruption to your life while fixing those problem windows that you've been staring at for years. You don't need to use a chat program to figure out how to get better windows in your house. Just go to windownation.com right now. They're good enough for HGTV's designing spaces, and they're going to be awesome in your home, especially when you get Window Nation windows now for 50% off all window styles, plus 0 down and 0 interest, and no payments until 2028. I'm telling you, Window Nation is the real deal when it comes to replacement windows and doors. Get a free quote at windownation.com today.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? Soap and shoe.
Sponsored by Apex Pros, the pros who knows.
All right, here's what's up on a Monday edition of the program. This was a bit of a surprise. It happened late on Friday. We saw the news start to trickle out that the Big Ten and the SEC were going to now support the Save College Sports Act. You will recall last week on two separate instances, the Big Ten and the SEC were given deadlines by Congress of which they ignored and did not take very seriously. And at one point in the middle of last week, I said, look, I'm not interested on this until get everybody on board and then we'll see. I'm still dubious to think that this thing is going to hold up or this thing will be, forced into law. I think there's some real issues with it. But on Friday, the Big Ten and the SEC did announce that each of the league's presidents and chancellors voted to support the Protect College Sports Act. So now, in the revisions, these were obtained by Yahoo Sports, and really Ross Dellinger is crushing this. Amanda Krisovich crushing it as well. We've had Amanda on several times. She's great on this. Dellinger's really all over it. He, in his reporting on Yahoo, the approved PCSA legislation would create a $22.5 million retention pool for schools to use on retaining athletes, in addition to $21.3 million original cap plus $5 million on women and non-revenue sports. That's a $48.8 million cap, putting the figure more in line with the current market. Here's the part that gets pretty interesting. It would grant the NCAA and conferences a limited antitrust exemption to re-implement the one-time transfer exception. So you get one. Standardized 5-year eligibility policy. I think this is going to get, in Arrested Development, when they have like the narrator. We're about ready. Hold, please. Standardized 5-year eligibility policy. Ban professional athletes from returning to college. Establish an agent registry and maximum fee of 5% as noted above. Create a stricter athletic revenue salary cap. So I said pay attention to the narrator because of this. On Friday, U.S. District Court judge in Colorado granted a preliminary injunction that gives college athletes from high school class of 2022 another year of eligibility for the coming school. The NCAA is going to appeal the decision. By the way, it'd be nice to have all of the money that the NCAA spends on lawyers. That'd be pretty good because it's a lot. While the preliminary injunction grants immediate eligibility for class of 2022 athletes, that would change if the NCAA's appeal is, of course, successful, but that always takes time. So my guess is for football, you're going to get a flood of new players, new old players who are now eligible to play. So this is going to be an absolute mess on every front. Here's what I'm dubious about. And I'd have to see the full legislation to understand. I'm very dubious about if they kept it in there like a maximum of 19 schools per conference. Very dubious about that because for a fact North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, and a handful of others want no part of staying in the ACC at $36 million a year for another decade. They want no part of that. That's 2036, guys. That ACC ESPN deal. They want no part of that. They want out of that thing in the worst possible way. So with this, this then forced them to, if they leave a conference, go independent for 5 years, Notre Dame style. Like, are they really going to stand for that? Are the Big Ten and the SEC really going to sign up for that? So that's just kind of a abstract thing that I'm very curious to see if that's still in there. The thing that to me is going to be very difficult is, how are you going to put a cap on what someone can make? Every time they do this, this is where it stops. And this is why I thought Tuberville, and, you know, he's borderline buffoon, but he's right on some of this stuff from the standpoint of, if you start to cap what somebody can make, well, hold on a second. That is not what America is all about. You are worth what someone is willing to pay you. So how are you going to cap that? How are you going to legislate against name, image, and likeness and prove that it's true name, image, and likeness? Because they're also going to have, a governing body that's going to look into those and try to approve all those things. Good luck with all of that. So again, it seems significant that the Big Ten and the SEC say, hey, we're on board with this. I just feel like this when you talk about limiting what somebody can make, a cap, for example, retention pool for teams, all of this stuff, this sounds like professional sports to me. That's what it sounds like. So I have a hard time understanding how any of this is going to be upheld in a court of law, even if this does go through this. I just, not a lawyer, didn't go to, not a dog lawyer, cat lawyer, bird lawyer, nothing. I got just been doing this for a long time, and I just feel like I've seen the NCAA flounder on this a million times, and now they got the government involved. I still feel like it's going to fall and get pounded in court.
So they have till the end of the day, I think, to put it on the docket to get voted on by the end of this week, because I think it's Friday. The Senate goes on a month-long recess, then it's the midterms, then you're not getting anything on this.
Right.
That this shouldn't be even discussed as long as there's other things that are important to this country and this planet. From a geopolitical standpoint, that are on the docket that they kind of need to address before they get to go on their month-long recess. So that's where I'm a little concerned that maybe this shouldn't be on the priority list with some of those other things.
Yeah.
I also wonder about enforcement. So if you don't abide by any of by the cap, or if you decide to run afoul of restrictions here, or what would be put into place by the Protect College Sports Act, do you go to jail? Does the FBI come in and do they seize your computers or your personnel that have run afoul?
Do you go to jail
of the restrictions enacted in this?
Just imagine like a Buddy Garrity lookalike at SMU being hauled off in shackles.
Like, are they going to bring Kurt Cignetti up in front of Congress to have him testify about recruiting at Indiana and how Indiana does their NIL? This is all nice on
questions.
Paper, but who's the enforcement coming from, and what does enforcement look like?
I don't know, Bo, how all of this doesn't get shot down in courts. And I know that's what they're trying to do, is get their what antitrust exemptions in here and all of this, so they can't go to court on it. But I don't know how, with the precedent being set, this is. I just go back to, if you would have kept the colleges out of giving them money and just let the NIL deals, now, would it have been the Wild West again? Maybe. But if you would just let these guys, or if you had marketing teams with your university that could help these guys get deals or whatever, you could have maybe kept this going a little longer. But now it's gotten to the point where it's all so out of hand that we've been on the track, as much as I don't love it. We've been on the track of these guys becoming employees for a long time, and it feels like it's sped up a lot now with all of this.
You guys both bring up great points. Reese, it's a fantastic, who's the enforcement arm? Like the FBI? The CIA? Who's enforcing this? Who's investigating wrongdoing? You guys got to remember, in a bygone era, before newspapers went away, for the most part, there was the investigative arm of the NCAA was called journalism. That was it. We, the collective we in the media, investigated wrongdoing published it. The NCAA then investigated the investigations of the wrongdoing and then tried to prosecute it. And in many instances, like with us with Tatgate, you would self-police. Yeah, we did this. We'll take our punishment. That's the way that we've always done it. And then, Bake, you bring up a great point. They really opened up this can of worms by deciding to give them to this $22 million number. Once you start paying them a percentage of profits, then they become professional athletes. So right now, they're just professional athletes without representation, without a union. So we'll see. We'll see. What they've wanted forever is the antitrust exemption that allows them to do kind of whatever they want without fear of litigation. But all the while, you have lawsuits popping up like this one in Colorado with the eligibility for 2022. So we'll see. I'm not going to say that it's not insignificant that the Big Ten and the SEC got on board with this. I'm curious what the final bill will have to say and what was in the final bill that appeases the Big Ten and the SEC. Go ahead, Vic.
I also, and I've brought this up before, this is $48.8 million going to student athletes. How do you explain that with public universities that get public funding from all of us? Like how?
That's a great point.
What's the explanation? Where's this money coming from?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to be really transparent with that.
Yeah, it's going to, if these schools have to open up their books, my hunch is most won't like to. Like truly, open up their books, most probably won't like to. We'll get into a busy sports weekend coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
When it's time to replace your roof, siding, or gutters, trust matters. That's why homeowners across Central Ohio have voted Newman Roofing City Scene Magazine's best roofing company 5 years in a row. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
It's likely you've made peace with the congestion that greets you every morning. The snoring your partner stopped mentioning. It feels unfixable, but it isn't. For most, it's a nasal breathing problem that's treatable for good.
I'm Dr. Kandula, founder of Advent. Advent can deliver long-term results in about 20 minutes with simple in-office procedures. We diagnose and treat the root cause of nasal congestion, sinus pressure, sleep apnea, snoring, and allergies. 96% of patients with severe nasal breathing issues report improvement, and most major insurance plans are accepted.
Wake up and smell the life you've been missing. The family picnic, the run by the lake, the fresh cut grass. Breathe deep, sleep through the night, and step into every day sharper and more present. It's time for a new beginning. It's the advent of your best life.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
Remember the old days when football used to have an off-season? Well, we at the Fan think that really sucked. That's why we bring you Austin and Berm, America's #1 resource for Buckeye football conversation, is voted by Fake Surveys Incorporated. Catch their daily podcast called The Beat and their breaking news podcast, Snap Judgments, as they broadcast live from Roosters on Mondays, and they come right to your house and massage your tender areas. They'll do it all. Austin and Berm on the Fan's YouTube channel and 10 TV Plus.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to see the world differently, moves us to action. And we believe that today, wonder is more essential than ever. Wow. That's why we're supporting a new generation of explorers to ask big questions, make breakthroughs, and bring the future closer. Wonder awaits. Will you join us? Visit natgeo.org/wonder.
Buckeye football fall camp is coming. Will Julian Sayin take his game to the next level? Will Matt Patricia's defense dominate again? Join us live for training camp fun starting Thursday, August 6th. Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. All your favorite Fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Distilled sports discussion, served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, I want you guys remember, it might be a little before your time, there was a great Phil Hartman skit on Saturday Night Live called Caveman Lawyer. You remember this? And he would come on, he'd win. Yeah, he'd come on, he'd win case. He'd be like, I'm just a simple caveman. I don't understand your wild theories and your wild laws. And then he'd win cases. Even though he's smart, he would act like he was just a simple caveman. So pretend that I'm a simple caveman and somebody who doesn't watch baseball anymore, but used to watch it a great deal and keep a season-long box score of the beloved Dodgers. Little family outfit has turned into a bit of a problem, apparently. And so the way I understand this is Shohei Ohtani, who, in my opinion, is the greatest player in the history of the sport, even though I don't watch it as much as I used to. I just think what he's done is stupefying and impossible to even wrap your head around. He gets hurt, and they do what?
They get the best pitcher in the game for 3 players. One of them is recovering from Tommy John.
Huh.
So, yeah.
So they get Scooble?
Mm-hmm. They get the best free agent available. Or I guess
no
the best
big deal.
The best trade piece out there.
So is the deal that they gave Detroit something that you would like? Was that the best deal on the market?
Probably.
Like, is Detroit culpable to this at all, or what?
I think Detroit's very culpable because if I looked at this correctly, the Dodgers didn't give up one of their top 5 prospects. That outfielder might be number 5 in there, but they didn't have to give up any of their top guys.
So Zahir Hope is somebody that it is a good piece, but he is not at all. That's not at all good enough with the 2 righties that they sent. That's not at all good enough for a player of Tarik Skubal's caliber.
So the other thing, the backdrop to this, and again, treat me as a simple caveman lawyer, the backdrop of this is potential work stoppage in 27, and it's all because of the Dodgers, or it's mostly because of the Dodgers. I saw something over the weekend. They have deferred like $1.1 billion in salary.
They've kicked the can down the road at a ridiculous amount.
Why don't we quit blaming the Dodgers, though?
That's kind of where I'm at.
Why don't we blame, if you don't want the Dodgers doing that, hey, don't take a less than market deal and send them Tarik Skubal. Why don't you pay and keep Tarik Skubal?
They were never going to. So you knew for months, and we had even talked about it back at the beginning, maybe in February or whenever it was. We did a little bit of baseball conversation that we normally don't do. Was Skubal's going to be a Dodger? Ha ha ha! But really,
yeah.
I also saw this, that most of these Major League Baseball teams spend, I thought this was a fascinating stat, 60 to 65% of their revenue. Mm-hmm. So, the Mets are an outlier. They spend more But like the Arizona Diamondbacks spend 65% of their revenue. The Dodgers right now are spending 60% of theirs. Their revenue in their TV deal just gives them so much money that they're not like crazy spending percentage-wise. They're just making a lot more money than everyone else.
So they were probably pretty smart with what they've done in Japan, right? Because I've read that they have some incredible Japanese television deals as well, because of obviously Ohtani at the top, but he's not the only one. So this is the thing, I think, as you're staring at it does feel like we're headed to a work stoppage, right? They're going to try to do a cap, but then the players are going to want a floor. Players don't want a cap at all. Like if you have guys willing to spend this, who would you guys say are the teams that are capable and willing to spend, like the Dodgers?
Well,
the Mets,
obviously. The Yankees, Red Sox, the Padres.
Okay. And then everybody else kind of sits it out?
Just sits on their hands. Like this for Detroit, like you could have paid him. You could have given him a contract that would have kept him in Detroit. And he's 29 years old. Like he'll be a free agent at the end of this season. So I don't know if the Dodgers are going to shell out for him. I mean, if they win a third baseball championship, I don't know how they view him in terms of their future planning. Like you had talked about, all the money that they've got kicked down the road. But yeah, there's only 5 or 6 teams that are willing to pay, and the rest of them are all just kind of yelling. They're all just kind of punch above or punch up because they're just not willing to pay. And so I look at more of those teams like the Guardians, like the Reds, like the Pirates. Like, I mean, even the Pirates dealt $100 million to one player before the season. I was pretty impressed by that. But, you know, the Tigers, all of these teams crying poor, I'm like, they're more so the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This isn't good that a 2-time Cy Young winner goes to the defending world champions. That's very bad for the game, the competitiveness of it. But from this is the Dodgers' fault, they're ruining baseball, that's just not the case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just look at the East alone, like the Braves must spend, don't they? The Phillies, do they spend?
The Phillies spend, Braves spend.
Yeah.
And the Phillies just added Luis Ariz, who one of the best hitters in baseball average-wise, second baseman. They actually just traded for him when we started this segment. So the Phillies are a team that'll go out and get people. The Red Sox, they're trying hard for a shortstop. It sounds like they called the Reds about Ellie De La Cruz, and we're told no, thank you.
Holy cow. You trade Ellie now, just cease operations. Like, you're not. Come on. I mean, he's going to walk, obviously, at the end. They're not going to pay him, but
they have 3 or 4 years
you
till
got
that.
Time,
I think it's 2029.
Give the fans something to watch in the interim. One other thing I did want to mention, the PLL was in town, Professional Lacrosse League was in town this weekend at Ohio State, and I saw Saturday sold out. So they play, the way that PLL does it, they have home markets now, and they were here a couple of years ago, but they still go to some of these places, and I really think that we are ripe for a PLL team. I think that this city would support it. I think they'd get behind it. I think that the lacrosse community in Central Ohio is strong enough that it would support it for a single weekend, certainly, and that was proven this weekend. So they played Friday, they played Saturday, and then they played Sunday. Obviously, we don't have a dog in the fight in that there's not an Ohio team. I remember we had Paul Rabel, who's one of the founders of the league, on a couple of years ago, and they came, and I lobbied hard for a team in Columbus. And I know that they're probably not ready to expand, but I think that you put your best foot forward by selling out on Saturday, the Ohio State Lacrosse Stadium. That was pretty cool to see, and to see them seeing firsthand that the support would be there. The facility is spectacular. I know that they maybe wanted a little bit more in terms of possibility for attendance, but I think you could find some workarounds to that. But really good response out of Central Ohio and the lacrosse community over the weekend with the PLL in town. We will blitz the weekend coming up next. Second hour of the program, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Tri-State Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
CEC Turf and Tractor is growing. We're proud to welcome Green & Sons Equipment's Mount Sterling and Marysville locations. Same hometown service you trust, now with the strength of one of Ohio's largest Kubota dealers. Visit CECturfandtractor.com today.
Getting a speeding ticket can ruin your day. But what about that cyclist or the pedestrian crossing the street? If you hit them while speeding, you'll do more than just ruin their days. That's why tickets are more than just a fine. They're a second chance. A reminder of what's on the line when you're behind the wheel. You won't get a do-over every time. So take this as your sign to follow the speed limit every drive. Speeding slows you down. Paid for by NHTSA.
State Fair food is getting smaller and pricier.
We'll have room for fried cookies.
Okay, you'd never overspend on food. What's your deal?
What's his deal? He went to Metro and got $450 in value on the new Samsung Galaxy A37 5G for free and no activation fees.
Free phone? Oh, sign me up.
Get that more for your money feeling. Only on Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number and activate $40 period plan. $450 based on device discount, waived activation fee. Not available if with Metro T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
These are the sounds of children playing and families laughing. But these sounds were cut short. Cut short because Ohio doesn't require gates and lights at every railroad crossing. Crossbucks and stop signs? Really? Crossbucks and stop signs just aren't enough. But you can help. Report unsafe railroad crossings at angelsontrack.org. Because bad crossings kill good drivers. Sponsored by Angels on Track Air by OAB and this station.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, millions of people called us for representation. Why? Because trust grows when you win. And we've won a lot. Over $30 billion and counting. When you call America's largest injury law firm, you're calling a family. You're calling an army. Our army. You're calling somebody who will fight for you. Injured? Let our family fight for your family. Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of the biggest positives we hear from customers is, I loved my Pella Columbus guide. We're there to be whatever it takes to make your life easy.
We've been working on our support as well.
Cool, like...
I made a pamphlet.
A pamphlet?
Double-sided, very thorough. Even put a word search on page 2 with window words like double pane, which is what my mom used to call me. Still calls me.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
Good feet. Yep, that's the line of the season for me. Every day I slip into my shoes and I know I've got the support and alignment I need. You know, I hear my buddies complain about their backs, their knees. They walk funny. Some of them look funny. And I kid because that was me years ago. No more. No more over-the-counter insoles for just that cushion. It never lasts anyway. My personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store are stable, they're strong, and they're personally fitted to me. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand you and the needs of your daily life. I used to have the aching feet and occasional lower back pain. The Good Feet store helped me where I needed relief and found the arch supports that work best for me. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis, and I am one of them. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. They are on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City, or just get started at goodfeet.com.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State football begins fall camp this week. Buckeyes will open practices to fans Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll be live from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center for all 3 days of coverage right here on The Fan. We're 33 days out from Ohio State and Ball State, Saturday, September 5th at Ohio Stadium. In the NFL, the Hall of Fame games Thursday in Canton. The Cardinals will play the Panthers. The Browns and Bengals will hold their first preseason games next week. In football, the U.S. men's national team has announced an extension with manager Mauricio Pochettino. He'll lead Team USA through the 2030 World Cup. In baseball, the trade deadline's tonight at 6. The Tigers sent two-time Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers for 3 players. Skubal will make his debut for Los Angeles tomorrow night against the Cubs. On the field, both the Guardians and Reds won Sunday. Both teams are off on Monday. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Take a vacation from high interest rates with special rates on balance transfers at BMI Federal Credit Union, bmifcu.org/visa.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour on a Monday edition of the program. Bill Bender, Sporting News, going to join us at 10:30. He has something pretty cool he's cooking up with Sporting News, so we'll get some details on that coming up in 29 minutes from now. Time now, though, to blitz the weekend. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present a Weekend Sports Blitz.
Sponsored by Metal Supermarkets. Visit metalsupermarkets.com/Columbus for all your metal needs.
I believe I had that. Reese, what'd you have?
Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers.
Yeah, you did.
Felt like the most obvious damn thing in the world. Like, somebody needs to stop them. But this is, look, it was their general manager that came out on Sunday and said, this is the game that's played. This is how you play it. And it's much like Ohio State, where if you want to, whine about the rosters and how much you're spending on college football rosters, don't. Because if you're going to whine about it, then you don't want to compete. They want to win. They want to win a third world championship. This is how you do it.
I was just curious, real quickly on that, like, who are the wealthiest owners in Major League Baseball? So Steve Cohen's number one. He owns the Mets. He's worth like $22 billion. Rogers Communications, which owns the Blue Jays, is actually second. But it's a corporate. It's not individual. Dodgers have Guggenheim Partners own them, so that's Mark Walter. He's between 7.3 and 13.3 billion is what he's sitting at. And then the Ricketts family with the Cubs, nearly middle of 8 billion. Ilitch family, by the way, worth a ton too. So, but again, like, wealthy people don't love to lose money. They don't like to make a habit of it. So usually they want to make money every single year more than they made the year before. So that's kind of how you get to this spot. But there's a lot of people who could be spending who aren't big.
I believe that I really wouldn't know what to do this weekend. And part of me kind of didn't, with having nothing really on the docket. There were a couple naps taken, although we got through. We did some stuff that needed to be done at the house that had been lacking for a while. We also got a jump on some high school football stuff here, as we're less than 3 weeks away from that. So we got by, but it was a struggle trying to figure out exactly what we needed to do.
Number one for me, I believe I had that. So this happens every year at our club. It happens every year. There's something about August that turns the golf faucet off. And so there is this rush to the course. Obviously, in April and May, we're starving to play. June is pretty crazy, even a lot of July. But for whatever reason, when you get to August, you kind of have the place to yourself. This usually happens, especially in the evenings. And so NBC's doing these like 4:30 to 9:30 practices every night for football for 2 days. So he had one on Saturday. The blonde was up at the lake with the other two. So I had like a Saturday night to myself, and I played golf by myself. There wasn't anybody else on the course. It was the craziest damn thing ever. But then I was reminded that every year at this time, it starts to peter out a little bit, and it's kind of a win for those of us if you can get it in. It's a good time to do so. I did not have that. What did you not have, Reese?
So we talked about a judge putting another injunction, this time on the NCAA and their 5-to-play-5 rule, but the injunction's allowing it to kick in earlier. Very loose understanding, but CBS is reporting that Jaden Fielding is exploring a 5th year of eligibility following that court order. Jaden, wish you the best. It's not going to be in Columbus. Ohio State's good. We have our savior at the kicking spot.
I did not have, and they've still got a long way to go, But I did not have the Cincinnati Reds maybe trying to play their way back into this thing since the All-Star break. I believe they've won every series but one, and that was to Reese's Guardians. But the Reds have been playing decent baseball here. I think they're 4.5 out of the wild card right now. Now, I know they're probably going to be sellers later on today, and a couple of players will be waving by, but I don't think I had the Reds trying to make a little surge here.
God, it's such a crazy sport, isn't it? So I look at this. There's 16 out in the Central. The Reds are.
Yeah, that's cooked there.
And somehow they're going to make a wild card?
There's a new wild.
They can fight for that? God, the American League.
I mean, they got a lot of people. They got a lot of people to jump over.
It's so bad.
The American League is just a clown show. It's a total clown show. I did not have the Big Ten and the SEC agreeing. Now, I want to see the details of the Save College Sports Act, but I didn't think that they would sign up for a lot of the things that were in that bill. I'm shocked that they did. But again, I'm waiting to see what that final bill looks like, because I cannot imagine either of those leagues would do anything to put a cap on how financially prosperous they can be. And they're just scratching the surface, quite honestly, of what they can be. Player who impressed, Reese?
I was impressed with the LA Dodgers. I think it was, I'm trying to get the quote here, but the general manager and I think some of their players have come out and said, look, we're trying to win. This is how you do it. And they're not apologizing for it. I've been outwardly about Ohio State, and however much they're spending on their roster, you tell people how much you're spending. You tell people what you're doing to win, because you want there to be more serious people involved with actually winning. So good on LA for doing this.
Yeah.
Player that impressed for me is Reds rookie Sal Stewart. He has 85 RBIs right now, which is tied for the Major League Baseball lead. That's the first National League rookie ever to lead baseball in RBIs after August 1st. Sal Stewart has been a kid that has come up this year. She came up at the end of last year. He's played first base, DH, a little bit of third. They bounced him around some, even some second base. And man, the moment has not been too big for him. He has continued to hit for this baseball team.
Player who impressed, I saw this Saturday morning. Did you guys see the video of Notre Dame's new facilities?
Oh, boy.
Football?
Pretty nice.
Whoa. So I was there 2 summers ago on the way back from a lacrosse trip when they were building a lot of this stuff, and a lot of it was, behind lock and key, and you could see some of the scaffolding and stuff. But to see that unveiled the way that they did on Saturday morning, and then have it mixed in with like Rockney and Holtz and then Marcus, I get done watching this thing, and we said this maybe a month or so ago on the program. Marcus Freeman is one of the most powerful people in college football. But I think that's pretty finite, and Notre Dame is going nowhere. And I don't like the fact that they're independent. I think the Big Ten shouldn't play them until they join the league, all of those things. But they look, you want to do 2026 college football viability, they're an A+. They're fully invested, facilities, financial, NIL, all of it. They are as organized as anybody. We don't talk about them as much as Texas Tech, but they are absolute. We talk about them as much, but not in terms of their spending as much. But they're doing all of the things that you need to do, and it's pretty impressive to see what they've done in South Bend. Player who disappointed, Reese?
I was disappointed with the LA media. I think Myles Garrett missed 3 training camp practices for the Rams, and there wasn't nearly enough anger about him missing those practices. And look, if you're going to cover Myles Garrett, you've got to turn the anger up when he misses training camp. Did in Cleveland for 15 years. A little bit more out of the LA media in terms of anger towards their teams in camp. It's needed.
You imagine Myles the difference from just the negativity.
Oh, so that's what this is like.
Oh, wow. These guys really like us.
I'm thrilled for him to get that experience. I don't know if the tail end of his career is accurate, but he's in his 30s, so your sport's old, but that he's going to get a legitimate chance to compete, and he's going to get a training camp where people aren't insane about him every day.
Yeah.
Player that disappointed for me is the Detroit Tigers. I know we talked a little bit about it last segment, and maybe Tariq Skubal wasn't going to re-sign with you, but you could have got a better deal than this. Zaire Hope is the number 5 prospect in the Los Angeles Dodgers farm system. He's the 4th, though, best outfield prospect. Then River Ryan was the 7th prospect, and Brady Smith was the 17th best prospect. I feel like there was a better deal out there to be had for Tariq Skubal than that they got back.
I'm going to go player who disappointed, the showrunner on House of the Dragon. Did you watch the most recent episode, Reese?
I have not.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I mean, they were on a heater.
Shark has, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of action, buddy, but
oh boy,
Shark has been jumped a little bit with this thing. Let's just say that. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, Reese?
I've got Team USA's Mauricio Pochettino. They just announced his extension. He'll be leading the U.S. men's national team through the 2030 World Cup. I think he has done a phenomenal job. I think it's the CONCACAF Gold Cup is what you've got next. So a real, I think, chance for him to kind of undo a disappointing end of the World Cup. But he's the right guy, I think.
I think so, too. I like the hire, yeah. Or I like him maintaining the position, yeah.
Bo, I don't love doing this, but I'm going to go with myself on this. I mentioned yesterday
Good.
I spent some time working on some high school football stuff. I emailed 99 local high school football coaches and ADs looking for information for the upcoming season, getting ready for another year of high school football overtime. I can't believe we're less than 3 weeks away.
NBC has a scrimmage Saturday. Freshman scrimmage Saturday.
Did they do a Midnight Madness practice like some of them I saw around here were doing?
They did not. They started, I think the first day you could start was like Thursday. So I think they've just done nights is what they've done.
Wait,
I can't remember
midnight?
Thursday or Friday. No, people are doing that, yeah.
So August 1st was like the official first like practice. So I saw some of I know Lancaster did it. When the clock hit midnight, Friday night into Saturday, they were out there on the practice field having their first practice for the year.
Ready to go. I love that type of stuff, man. I was telling him about it. I'm like, dude, we had to go really early in the morning, and then we would go really late at night. So we would do 2 true two-a-days. We'd go at 6 a.m. for like 6 to 8, and then we would go at night like 8 to 9, 9:30, because you had to farm in between because it's harvest. So the kids, if you had practice in the middle of the day, you're not having a football team.
How about that day, by the way? Wake up early, football practice, go work in the fields, and then go back to football practice.
I didn't know any better. I'll tell you this, the harvest was the easy part, just sitting in an air-conditioned Kenworth and taking grain back and forth from combine to bin. That was pretty easy, man. The football was the tough part. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week for me. I'm going to go Todd Monken. He utilizes, guys, every spare second that is allotted to him to practice. There's not a millisecond of downtime. It goes from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. If they are allotted 2 hours and 15 minutes, he is using 2 hours and 15 minutes. You got to be honest to your process. Stefanski oftentimes would be an hour and a half, hour 20, and then he'd let him go. Not Monken. They're going the full time. It's pretty physical. They even have pads on.
I love it.
I think those go on today. So it's a big time tone change. Not to say one's better than the other. You got to be honest who you are as a person, but he is being honest to who he is as a person. Speaking of being honest to who you are as a person, the Browns going to have to be pretty honest about their quarterback situation coming up pretty quick. We'll get you the details on what's happened so far in that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Every year, tens of thousands in Central Ohio choose Columbus State Community College to start what's next. They're earning degrees that open doors to in-demand jobs, stable careers, and real earning power. They're bridging the gap to an affordable university bachelor's degree, avoiding the trap of student loan debt, and moving their lives and our community forward. Columbus State is making Central Ohio stronger. Apply today at cscc.edu.
Whether it's water heater trouble, clogged or leaky pipes, or sub pump worries, Logan Services has you covered with service calls for just $79. We're fast, friendly, and here to help you with your plumbing projects. Logan Services.
Oh, how great it would feel to have your 20-year-old knees, shoulders, hips, and back.
You know, you don't think about your pains when you're in your 20s or 30s, but you wish you could get that body back when you're in your 60s. I think QC did that for me.
For Patrick, it started with a simple phone call to QC Kinetics.
One day I was driving and I just heard the radio and I pulled over and took the number and I called them when I got home.
Maybe that's you, and you're listening right now. Why wait? QC Kinetics Regenerative Treatments uses your body's own natural biologics to heal and restore damaged tissue without invasive surgery or harmful drugs. And as for the results,
my knees are as good as they were when I was in my 20s. I'm really happy with what happened.
For Patrick, it's like QC Kinetics turned back the clock. Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Newman Roofing is proud to sponsor the Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat fan drive. Help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. Purchase new box fans and take them to the nearest Franklin County fire station or buy online. For more information, visit 10tv.com/beattheheat or lifecarelines.org.
The sun is out and it's time to cruise into savings. CME Federal Credit Union wants to try to beat your current loan rate by 2% on autos and toys. Plus, enjoy no payments for 60 days. With car rates as low as 4.99% APR and toy rates starting at 6.5% APR, it's the perfect time to save. Apply today at cmefcu.org. Terms apply. Minimum floor rates 4.99% APR cars, 6.50% APR other vehicles. Federally insured by NCUA.
Common Man and Bob Capace here. So, Bob, you got this ring builder thing on your website.
Yep, you pick the diamond, the setting, customize your own engagement ring before you even come in this store.
I actually tried it.
You did?
It was ridiculously easy.
See, if Common Man can build a perfect ring online,
anybody can, because I'm dumb.
Then book an appointment and we'll help make it exactly the way you designed it.
That's why I always tell people, I know a guy. You too can design your own engagement ring with the ring builder at worthingtonjewelers.com. If I can do it, anyone can.
Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
What defines Ohio? A place that dares to go first and never looks back. There's no slowing us down. At Jobs Ohio, our mission is clear. Strengthen job opportunities and empower Ohio's workforce. Another reason why Ohio is now ranked the #1 state for business by CNBC. This is what unstoppable feels like. We did it together, Ohio. Our time is now. See Ohio's momentum at jobsohio.com/Ohio's time.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, happy Monday. Lots of sunshine for the remainder of the day. Highs right around 82 degrees, but come overnight tonight, lows in the 60s. It's going to feel quite nice tomorrow morning with lower humidity to start off your Tuesday morning. Highs tomorrow, lots of sunshine right around 86 degrees. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldridge, with 97.1 The Fan.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. What's the weather outside? Who cares? Bakers and shorts. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. We're proudly brought to you and sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for nearly 8 decades. Browns camp, 4 days in. I saw the first 3 days, did not see Saturday's practice, where it seemed like Deshaun Watson threw it to the other team a little bit. He was with the twos. If the way that it breaks down, they're going your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. So today in Browns camp, it will be Watson with the ones, Shador with the twos. So you get a full day with the ones, then you get a full day with the ones the next day. That's the way that it's kind of been working out. So in the experience that, and again, I wasn't there Saturday, but watched Friday's practice with along with Nathan Zagura with Bernie Kosar. And one of the things that we observed was Pretty simple. Deshaun Watson is making mistakes after the ball is snapped, i.e. some of these interceptions that are happening in camp. And Shedeur Sanders is making mistakes before the ball is snapped, i.e. not getting out of the huddle, procedure penalties, not getting guys lined up. At one point in Friday's practice, Deshaun on that day was with the ones and Shedeur was with the twos. And on Friday, Deshaun had his best day by far. He looked really good throwing the football. Saturday, it looks like it maybe went the other way, but it's hard to say. I wasn't there. I just saw like the stats and I saw him throw some picks, but you don't know the context of the picks. But on Friday, Deshaun's field was almost 2 full plays ahead of Shedeur's field. So that just from a procedural standpoint, Shedeur has to catch up on that because you cannot play the position if you cannot get the play off, right? I mean, that's just kind of and it's not all on him. Some of it's everything else. It's all of it. But as the quarterback, you're responsible for that. And then conversely, Watson has got to stop throwing it to the other team. So no one has grabbed this thing by the throat through the first 4 days. Now, they'll put on pads today, and you'll have a little bit of a different feel on it. Let's hear from both quarterbacks. They spoke on Saturday. Let's start with Shedeur on his assessment of the first 3 days of camp.
I'll just take a day at a time. Just focus on things I got to get better at, focus on the things I got to be more crisp at, and understand the flaws that I have and keep improving that.
Here he is on learning Todd Monken's offense.
Yeah, so of course it's going to be good days, bad days. We always strive to have our best days every day. But, I play better and I feel better whenever I have all the information and, I know exactly what's going on at all times. So that's why I just spend every minute, every hour of my time really focused on being the best quarterback I could be and being the best leader for this team I could be. And that obviously translates because the more information I know, then the more comfortable I am as a person.
The other side of the quarterback competition is Deshaun Watson has not played in a very, very long time. Here was his self-evaluation of the first couple of days of camp.
It's been decent, just working on the different situations that we go through each and every day. So just trying to master that as long as, learning the new system. Of course, we had all spring, about 10 weeks to kind of learn the system. But, once you get into training camp, it's a lot of different changes and things like that he kind of throws in. So it's been well, just trying to stack each and every day. You can't win all the days at once. So you just got to take one day at a time and, correct the mistakes that you make and build from there.
Deshaun was asked on the difficulty splitting and bouncing between the first and second team. Here was his answer to that.
Yeah, it can be because it's hard to build that rhythm. But, at the same time, you as a quarterback, you just try to lock in. You got to be a leader out there, and you got to bring everybody to that standard. And you all got to play that way. So regardless of what group you're in with or who you're in there with, you just got to make sure you execute at a high level. So it's definitely challenging, but at the same time, you can't make that as an excuse, in this job.
I think Todd Monken's going to have them both start a preseason game. The couple of things to look for: the Bills' joint practice will be a real litmus test in terms of who he sends out first there, because that's really when that's ones. That's when you're going to get a real look at this thing. Deshaun did say he's looking forward to playing preseason games because after a while, it's been a long time since he's played.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played football in a long time, so for me, it doesn't matter how long I play, how many games I play. I just want to play football. A lot of people wrote me off and said that I wouldn't be playing football again after two Achilles injuries. So, I'm proving that wrong and I'm proving myself right. So, it's a great opportunity for me to get out there and showcase what I can do.
So you're going to get a chance to see him in games. That's going to happen, a week from Saturday. You get that first opportunity to see these guys kind of go in games and see what it's all about. I think that if you're Todd Monken, you probably hope that there's some separation that starts to occur in these practices. I think what Todd is trying to do with the two, so basically, guys, just so you understand, he's running two fields simultaneously. They've got enough guys that they run the entire ones versus ones on one field and 2 versus 2s on another. So I will just tell you this. If you are running the 2s, and right now, through the first 3 days of practice, the 2s have Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, then that's a layup. Like, Denzel Boston is not fair against the second Browns corners. It's not fair. You can throw it to him every time. Bernie said I would throw to him every single time because they can't cover him. Now, I want to see him against Tyson Campbell and Denzel Ward, and that's when you get the ones versus ones. But so far to this point, he's been with the two. That won't last. Like, he's a legit one. Legit 6'4", big-time weapon. And so some of that really skews some of this just because of the advantages there. Guys, if this is close from an organizational standpoint, if it ends up being close, it's hard for me to believe that they would do anything other than go with Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is a fifth-round pick. He is under team control for the foreseeable future at a low number. If he plays well, it's a lottery ticket, and you don't have to worry about quarterback. If he can be a franchise quarterback, then you have a little bit of leverage going into next season. Now, they probably have a pretty good idea on how high a level of a franchise quarterback he can be already. Watson is also a lottery ticket, but it's a more complicated one. And Jimmy Haslam spoke on Friday about this, and somebody asked him, I think it was Mary Kay Cabot at Cleveland.com. She said, if he plays well, how do you even begin to re-sign him? Because he's a free agent next year. And Jimmy told the truth. He said, look, there's always ways around these things, and there's things that can always get sorted out. But it's more complicated if it's Watson. It's more complicated. If these two guys, forget your personal feelings on either one of them, just view this from a salary perspective. And from a cap perspective, if these two guys are similar, you're going to keep the one and give the one the chance who you have team control over the longer period of time, and who's cheaper versus the one that's more expensive. Like, that's just kind of some common sense stuff with it. So I think it's going to be very fascinating the next 2 weeks, 10 days, how this plays out. Right now, I think it's probably pretty even between the two of them.
Can the owner or the general manager go into Todd Monken's office and lay that down to him the way you just laid it out there? Or would they just step away and say, you got to play the guy you think gives you the best option to win? And the way you described both of their tribulations through the first 3 days of camp that you put eyes on is a lot, especially with as little time as you have between next Saturday, I think is their first preseason game. Because one, I think coaches, especially structural coaches, get driven nuts when you can't do proper pre-snap procedures, which slows things down. But you also have to take care of the football.
Yeah.
And if one quarterback's doing one really poorly and the other's doing the other really poorly, then I don't know at what point or what moments during camp does he go, what about Dylan? Or what about Talon? Like, you can't have those kind of conversations, but you got 4 quarterbacks. So,
well, Reese, you bring up a point. You can't have 4 quarterbacks on the roster.
It's
like they're going to have to either trade one or cut one.
So that's where my head goes.
You can't do that
as a Browns fan.
You're not going to be able to get them through to practice squad. So you can't have 4 quarterbacks. So they're going to have to eradicate themselves from one of them.
And when does that happen?
Yeah.
I honestly don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Deshaun. I don't care if it's Shedeur. I don't care if it's Dylan. I just want halfway competent quarterback play. I was talking to Tyvis a little bit about this morning because I guess he was up there Saturday watching some of it, and he was like, the first thing he said was, don't pay attention to their quarterback tracker because that thing's not real.
Wait a minute, what?
He said it's not real, but he said Deshaun had one pick that wasn't his fault that a tight end should have caught, and he didn't. And he said Shedeur had one that should have been a pick that wasn't because the DB dropped it. And he says Dylan looks the best, and it's not really close. But he said Dylan's also going against the second and third team defense, and he says the drop-off between the second and third team from the first team is tremendous.
The defensive depth or lack thereof in the back seven up there is a real problem. And Tyvis and I have talked about that when I did the hit with them last week. Like the 4 through 7 corners, they're just not NFL ready. They're not. And same thing with like some of the linebacker stuff beyond those top 2 guys. So like, yeah, it gets a little bit unfair. But look, they'll put on the pads today, and that'll change a lot of it because what I'll see today is going to be the big thing that you're seeing is the defensive line is just dominating, like Mike Hall, Mason Graham, Jared Verse are just dominating, but the offensive line can't really hit them. Well, now they get pads on, and so now you'll get a little bit better feel for it today. And today should be a Deshaun day, if memory serves. Yeah, because Shedeur had Saturday, and then Deshaun will have today. Bill Bender at Sporting News going to join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
It's time for sun and savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, get a new 2060 Elantra SE for $59 per month for a 2-year lease. Just $59 a month for the drive into summer sale. This month only. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit $39.95 down. Plus tax, title, first month's payment. 7,500 miles per year. Ends 8-3.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
At CEC Turf and Tractor, family means everything. That's why we're proud to welcome Green & Sons Equipment's Mount Sterling and Marysville locations to the CEC family. We're honored to carry on the relationships Green & Sons has built in these communities for generations while expanding our ability to serve you with more parts, more inventory, and faster response times. As one of Ohio's largest Kubota dealers, CEC Turf and Tractor is growing without losing sight of what matters most: hardworking people, trusted relationships, and hometown service. Visit CECTurfandTractor.com today for all your Kubota needs.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Warmer weather, longer days, lighter meals, more time outside. Summer gives weight loss a head start. Awaken 180 gives you the plan to make it happen. Ride the momentum with Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer.
Get your day started with T-Bone and Tybus weekday mornings from 6 to 9 here on The Fan. You think that a radio lifer and a national title winner wouldn't have much in common, but you'd be wrong. They're both girthy, they both love football, and they both get racially profiled for completely different reasons. It's like driving to work with your friends, except these friends give away tickets to things and talk to all the important people in town. Your actual friends are probably a bunch of losers. Well, anyway, listen to T-Bone and Tybus live on The Fan app, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's head out on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Little college football chatter with our good buddy Bill Bender, the Sporting News. He joins us there. Buddy, thanks so much for taking the time. Let's do the unfun stuff and just get it out of the way first, because neither you nor I want to talk about bureaucracy, but we did have a pretty big moment Friday with the Big Ten and the SEC saying, yeah, we're behind this Save College Sports Act. Now, buddy, I don't know, but I want to see what's in it before I see what they agreed to, because a lot of the things I know they took umbrage with earlier, I'm guessing some of those went away, but still significant that the two of them see eye to eye on this. What did you make of that Friday news dump of the Big Ten and the SEC seeing this thing as a possibility?
Yeah, they're working together, and the rivalry on the field separate from behind the scenes. Obviously, Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti are working to push this through. I mean, some of those changes you're seeing front and center. 5-5, that's going to be clumsy to start. Obviously, we figured that out with the possibility that some players could play that played last year that weren't in the portal. It's kind of confusing, but or were in the portal, rather, in January. So there's going to be some clumsiness to it, but I think the theme, and if it's comprehensive, that it's going to lead to some changes that makes college football a little bit better.
Do you think – I would be shocked if the SEC or the Big Ten would co-sign the 19 teams thing. Just
right.
That seems – wouldn't the Big Ten – I mean, the Big Ten would love to have Notre Dame, right? Like – it feels like this is one of those things where if they do the 19 and then you got to be an independent for 5 years, that will only – I'm looking at Notre Dame. I see the new facilities that dropped on Saturday that are spectacular. It feels like Notre Dame's kind of in the catbird seat here a little bit.
Yeah, I do. And I think, both conferences, if an independent of that rule, I mean, they maybe should push to 18 to 20. I don't know that the appetite for the SEC to add too many more teams is there, because I think they have most of the geographical teams in that footprint. If the Big Ten were to add to 19 to 20, you've heard rumored candidates ranging from North Carolina to the Florida schools. Notre Dame's always made the most sense. Notre Dame. And then I look at Pitt, and I know it's not perfect, but Pitt gives Penn State, gives you a little more of the East Coast. And if it was Pitt and Notre Dame, that's another rival for Notre Dame, by the way. So I think that would be a lot of fun if they added those two schools, made it a even 20 and go from there.
You and I just want it back to regional is what we want, buddy. Let's bring the Pac-12 back. It actually was a pretty good system before this all went to hell. Let's do on the field. We've now gotten through all the media days. Give me a couple of stories or teams that maybe you weren't thinking about enough that you've given second thought to. For example, for me, we're doing 20 most interesting. We did Georgia Friday, and it's not like the Dogs are ever not top of mind, but my God, are they loaded to bear. Is there a couple of teams that you're not thinking about enough that maybe over the last couple of weeks you think, you know what, maybe I ought to give them a little more thought?
Ole Miss, I mentioned them on the morning show this morning with Trinidad and Lacey, and Pete Golding seems to fit in there, and their schedule isn't horrible. I wonder if they were able to beat LSU on September 19th, I wonder if that would launch them to another really good season in the SEC, because we are just talking about Georgia and Texas mostly in that conference. And then SMU in the ACC. I've mentioned I like Louisville as a sleeper too, but SMU has an experienced quarterback, and Rhett just keeps winning there. So they're a team that could maybe, and they beat Miami last year, so they could be a team that could be a surprise winner in the ACC.
Yeah, it's funny. Paul and I both stumbled on them as a team that we think both the Big Ten and the SEC would have an interest in, maybe even more so than some of the more established teams. I mean, you get Dallas, you got an alumni base that's rocking and rolling, and you've got an elite academic school. The beloved Ponies, things have turned in a hurry for them. What did you make of Big Ten Media Days last week? I kind of came out of it saying, is this the best the Big Ten's ever been? It might just be, Bill.
It is, and there was a lot of talk about, the trophies being out there, and SEC fans. I have an editor, I'm going to out him a little bit, but he was like, oh, they could be a little more humble, and I just was like, stop, come on. I listened to 15 years of the SEC, and it just means more, and the Big Ten can't win the big games, so they are winning the big games now, and they have a unique opportunity to win a fourth straight national championship. I think these schools have NIL figured out, the NFL talents there. It's different ways of doing it too, right? Like Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, all top 5 teams. I would argue all 3 have their own unique way of navigating this landscape that's a little bit different. And then the schools behind them like USC, Penn State, Michigan, Iowa, all a little bit different. But I think the top half of the Big Ten, Bo, 1 through 9, and depending on who you believe those 9 teams that are, it is the best I've ever seen it.
I think it is too, and I think beyond that, Bill, it's kind of got the daily double, because not only is this, I think, the best the Big Ten has ever been, I really like USC this year as well, and Penn State's schedule, it's so navigable for Matt Campbell year one. Not only do I think it's the best it's ever been on the field, but off it as well. Like, you got Cignetti, calling people out. It's as interesting as it's ever been, too.
Yeah, and I think the SEC Big Ten power struggle is actually pretty even. Like, you look at their records of the last couple of years, last 3 years, the SEC's 12-11 heads up against the Big Ten. But we don't remember that or who they play in non-con. We remember who wins the big games. And the Big Ten's winning like the SEC did in the BCS and the early CFP era. The Big Ten's winning the big showdowns. The last SEC Big Ten game we remember is Cignetti taking Indiana and making it look like Alabama didn't look on the same field would belong on the same field, which was still crazy to me, by the way. But
you say it out loud, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe it. We all watched it.
Right, and I think Kurt's obviously not afraid to say what's on his mind, and it's one of those things, like I said, when the SEC was doing it, nobody was saying, hey, I take offense to what Nick Saban or Les Miles or Urban Meyer at Florida said. They were right at the time.
They absolutely were. You guys are setting out to do something here. It's going to drop, I'm told, in the next 20 minutes or so. You're doing some all-decade stuff. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure will not upset any fan base at all.
Okay, so Sporting News is part of our 140th anniversary. We're doing all-decade All-American teams, and we'll have our preseason All-Americans at the end of the week. But from the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was a really fun exercise all the way through present day. Several Ohio State guys are going to be on there. And there was a couple tough ones that we left off, and I think there's one you're going to see today. It's on the 80s team that's going to be like, what? Where's he at? But it was really hard. One thing, though, that 70s team, there's some great Ohio State players on it. I can spoil that because it's going to be up here in 15 minutes. Really fun exercise. So many great players, and a kind of a celebration of the game of college football.
How did you guys manage? Because typically what happens with the college football all-time teams, or you look at, somebody puts together an all-90s team or an all-2000s team, or he's the best player ever, it is impossible almost to relieve the bias that comes with their NFL careers. How was your attitude of, we are judging them only for what they did while they were at university and not worried at all about what happened after?
Well, that's how I've always done All-Americans. And it is a little bit harder when you do it this way. So, for example, a couple names that you'll see today, like Brian Bosworth, for example, we don't care about his NFL career. He was a legendary Oklahoma linebacker, two-time Butkus winner. But when you got into a situation there, and I won't reveal who we picked, how do you choose between Melvin Gordon, Monty Ball, Saquon Barkley, and that run of running backs, McCaffrey and Henry? How do you pick three out of that? It was really hard because a guy like Melvin Gordon nearly broke single-season record. So we had a lot of fun. There was a couple heated discussions. 70s running backs was the best position group I've ever seen, with Archie and Earl and Dorsett. That was where we had the most debate, and it was a lot of fun. And I will spoil one more thing. Archie is on there, of course, and I was definitely putting my foot down on that one.
We're going to make sure that happens. Yeah, you got the SC running backs in the 70s as well. Charles White in there, and Marcus Allen. Would have been in there too, right?
Yeah, it was
winners.
Wild to look at. And as you look back, decade by decade, it was neat to see how the position groups kind of switch around. For example, receivers in 1970 versus receivers now. It was much harder to sort those guys out. So, like I said, a lot of fun leading up to some of the things that we're having ahead of the college football season. And, sporting is, we joke around. We've been around since 1886, and there was football was a lot more different then than it is now.
It's spectacular. I love all of this content that you guys have. So the 60s and 70s teams drop in about 19 minutes, and then throughout the week at sportingnews.com. You can check that out. Buddy, always great talking to you. Thanks for your time.
Hey, anytime, Bo. Thanks for having me on. Have a good day.
There he goes. Our good buddy Bill Bender of the Sporting News joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Time for a little thing or not a thing coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
At Wright Pat Credit Union, we don't bury our fine print. We celebrate it. So while other banks hide behind phrases like,
rates subject to lunar cycles. Promotion expires tomorrow.
our fine print is more.
Profits will be returned to you via better rates, fewer fees, and annual member dividends when we can.
Because, we're not trying to pull a fast one. We just want to advocate for you, protect your interests, and treat your financial life with the respect it deserves. Wright Pat Credit Union. Banking done right. Federally insured by NCUA.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hey there, Bo Bishop here. Tired of the same old routine? It's time to escape with an RV from RCD RV. Motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, they've got them all. Shop hundreds of RVs in stock today. 3 locations in Central Ohio to serve you or online anytime at rcdrv.com.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My computer Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding. She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early. Bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
As summer starts winding down, it always seems to happen the same way. The backpacks are packed, the school forms are signed, and suddenly the calendar fills up faster than you ever expected. Between the last-minute appointments, school shopping, and getting everyone back into a routine, it's easy for those projects around the house to keep getting pushed to next weekend. Here's the good news. Your roof doesn't have to be one of them. At Newman Roofing, our team of value-driven professionals makes the process simple. You'll get honest answers, clear communication, and recommendations built around your home's needs. No sales pitches. Whether it's a new roof, siding, or gutters, we'll help you check it off your to-do list with the kind of white glove service that's earned the trust of families across Central Ohio for more than 30 years. So instead of worrying about your home, you can spend what's left of this summer making memories with the people who matter most. Newman Roofing, built around family. Ours protecting yours. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Your favorite fan shows are available as a podcast. What a concept. And don't miss exclusive podcast content like Austin and Byrne. Listen on your schedule from anywhere in the world. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Monday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
On Friday, more than 100 women's college basketball players joined a unionization campaign with the United College Athletes Association. It's the largest group of college athletes to formally push to collectively bargain with their schools. That group, the UCAA, is aiming to represent NCAA athletes across all sports and eventually form divisions for each sport to bargain separately. The UCAA announced that Oregon State's basketball team, where 10 of the 13 players have signed union cards, filed a petition Friday to be recognized as union members and to negotiate with that university. Thing or not a thing?
So, you said this is women's basketball players, and this is 10 out of 13 players at Oregon State?
Correct.
Okay. So, Oregon State is currently in... They're in the Pac-12, but it's not the Pac-12 as it used to be. It has virtually no television package. The television package it has is kind of piecemealed together. So, they don't have guaranteed revenue, and it's women's basketball. Now, there are several women's basketball programs in the country that do profit. There are several other traditionally non-revenue sports that do profit. But this isn't football, and it's not men's basketball. Are we sure that in some of these instances, if they are unionized, is that even a good thing? Or would you be better off just getting full tuition, room, board, food, lodging, all of that? Like, would that be... I guess what I'm saying is you better be careful what you wish for in some of these instances. Not everybody's football. That's why football should separate. By the way, football should be its own entity. Shouldn't have to lift up everything else, and then I think everything else could be run like college athletics used to be.
It's such a great point out of you, Bo, and we talk about this all the time, that when we talk about all of this with college athletics and college athletes, we only talk about it from a football perspective and maybe a couple of big-time basketball programs. This, in the long run, is probably going to hurt some of the Olympic-style sports or the sports that don't make a lot of revenue. And if you remember, Northwestern football tried this in 2015. Some athletes in Southern Cal and Dartmouth's men's basketball team tried to do this in 2024. And one of the big sticking points with all of this is there is a difference between private and public unions. And it makes it hard to regulate all of them with the private and public institutions as well. So you're trying to throw everything into one umbrella, except it just can't be that way because there's differences with these unions. So I think, we all understand football is big-time business. We get that. But women's basketball usually is not. Ice hockey is not. Track and field is not. So careful what you wish for in some of these sports when you're trying to do this.
So I just looked this up. So Oregon State last year reported an overall surplus of just $4.46 million for the athletic department. They profited $4.5 million. That's it. Their television rights went from $34 million in the old Pac-12 to $3 million, guys. Where's that money coming from?
I wonder, too, sorry, Reese, I wonder, too, what is the value of an Oregon State women's basketball player? Like, what is their worth to the university? What should they be getting paid? It's a question that's, I think, bigger than all of us. But
sure, and if that happens, then, okay, we'll pay you, but now we're not going to give you scholarships. So what's worth more? Because that's the other part of it that we don't even talk about that much. When we talk about, like, calling football private. Like, at that point, you stop giving them scholarships. We're paying you the money, that's the scholarship.
Today at 1:30, the Ohio State men's basketball team will play the second of a pair of exhibitions in Puerto Rico. Yesterday, just outside of San Juan, Jake Diebler's squad beat Los Boris 115-75. So it was game 1 of 2. They'll do game 2 this afternoon. Buckeyes, and this is according all to Adam Jardy, who was able to go down to San Juan and follow Ohio State for these exhibition games. But the basketball Buckeyes had made 12 substitutions before the half. And according to statistics kept by Adam Jardy, Jimmy Williams finished with a team-high 20 points. Anthony Thompson added 17. John Mobley Jr. had 12. Thing or not a thing?
You know what's the thing? It's a damn good job out of the Dispatch, and it's a damn good job out of Adam Jardy to go cover this stuff. He's a one-man beat, and they see the value in it. That's a good job out of them. It's a very good job out of him of going and covering it and giving you the color on something you otherwise wouldn't get. So that's the thing. I'm not too worried about who's scoring against God knows who they're playing down in Puerto Rico, but Adam is getting a view of what this team is going to be, and that's why when it comes time to talk Buckeye basketball and we get into the season, if we don't talk about it with Scooney or one of those guys, we talk about a beat guy, we all ask Adam because he's the one who does it. So that's a good job out of everybody. I think that's as big of a thing as who scored or didn't down in Puerto Rico.
That's another great point out of you, Bo. Good job out of the Dispatch and Jardy for going down there. Somehow we've got to get this, even if it's just one wide camera and it's streamed on Ohio State's website, somehow we've got to get these things streamed so we can get a look at it. I think Jimmy Williams is a guy that transferred into this team that we have not talked about enough. He's 6'5", very athletic, long experience. Is he going to score 20 points every game? Well, no, he's not. But he's a guy that's very versatile, can probably guard 4 positions on this team. And I like seeing that because I was excited. Of all the transfers they brought in, he was the one that I was personally excited about the most. And also, I love seeing Anthony Thompson, 14 and 7. I don't think anybody played more than 21 minutes in this game, so they got everybody in. spread the minutes around. But love seeing Anthony Thompson because, as we've talked, I think he's got to be the guy at the end of the year that's the straw that stirs the drink for this team to make a little bit of a March run.
Apparently, Jonah Hill is into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and has lost a ton of weight. The Superbad star was on a live podcast taping of Smartless with Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett and spoke of his newfound love for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I love, except my body is begging me to not love it. 42 isn't, my wife is often like, you're not going to become like a professional fighter. You know that, right? Like, you're a comedian. Like,
but let me ask you something.
Yeah.
If we got into it,
I would you up.
You'd me up, right?
I would all
but
three
truly,
of you up. Yeah.
right?
And that's the best part. My favorite thing is people are like, oh, Jonah Hill, bad guy from Superbad. And I'm like, I would annihilate you, dude. Right? I'm not kidding,
every
dude.
fight
Try it. If you see me, try it, dude.
Every fight ends up on the ground. Very
Bring
quickly.
it. Who's got it?
I will, unless you are way bigger than me.
I have like
around and find out.
Thing or not a thing.
He mentioned Superbad. As he was saying all of that, I was thinking to myself, like, when's the last time that he had like a banger? Like Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
It's been a minute, right? Like, does he have like is there anything from him recently that...
Didn't he do those 21 Jump Street movies?
Yeah, but those
I don't know if they were they before?
Those were around the same time.
Okay.
So, like, when is the last... So, Wolf of Wall Street, that's 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Good for him.
It's crazy. He does look like a different person losing all of that weight, and good for him for that. I also, just hearing that voice, though, like, I just can't take it seriously. I guess I'm going to have to see it to believe it. And I know you don't want to mess with people that are well-trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I hear that voice, and all I think of is him and McLovin and alcohol in the Tide bottle and all of that.
Yeah, it holds up pretty well. Final hour of the program coming up next. 20 most interesting. We head to that team up north, Michigan Wolverines. Pretty robust schedule, a brand new coach. How will it all mix with all of the scandal off the field? We will get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread build-it-yourself furniture, that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do its best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I went from walking 7 miles a day to not even being able to walk to my bathroom without having extreme pain in my feet.
This is Suzanne, and this is her Good Feet story.
I couldn't find anything that would help, and I suffered for 10 years. I felt like I couldn't live the life I loved to live, destined to just sit on the couch, and I just didn't want to give up. I knew that there was something out there that was going to be the right thing for me, and going to the Good Feet store was it. And I worked with an associate who fitted me with arch supports.
For over 30 years, the Good Feet store has been helping improve the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time.
I love that I have my arch supports. I'm active again and doing the things I love. Walking 14,000 steps in a day is no problem for me anymore. I feel like I have my life back.
See how we can help you too at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Berm, we're a couple weeks from training camp, which means every freshman looks like a future All-American. Every position battle has 6 winners, and everybody is supposedly in the best shape of his life.
July, the undefeated season of optimism.
I understand why the players are excited. Camp means the waiting is over. You get the plan, your reps, your coaches, and finally find out what all that work can become.
Honestly, that's what starting Awaken 180 felt like for me, minus the dorm room and somebody blowing a whistle at 6 in the morning.
You stop talking about what you're going to do and start seeing results.
I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, and the inflammation and psoriatic arthritis pain in my knees and other joints dropped dramatically.
I lost 50, then another 5 in maintenance, all med-free.
And when you reach your goal, the entire staff doesn't suddenly transfer.
Free support for life, the backbone of the Awaken 180 program.
Have questions? Ask them. Type Awaken 180 in your phone and simply click to call.
Simple, just like losing weight with Awaken 180.
How many of you have had your garage floor done? I'll wait for the answer. Yeah, that's enough. How many of you think it looks like crap? That's because it is crap. One quick call to Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they can install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in one day. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard. It's like pulling into a new car showroom every night. And here's the best part. It is guaranteed your garage floor will never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. And listen, you lazy bum, they'll even take the stuff out of the garage for you. They're all certified uniform pros. No subcontractors at Comer & Cross. This is a premier product with premier results, and they hired a premier endorser to tell you about it. For your quick and easy Comer & Cross garage floor quote, call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR now. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or go to comercross.com, C-O-M-E-R cross.com.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. We can help ensure you'll have a reliable income stream in retirement, locking in gains and avoiding downturns in the market. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Enough already.
We can do more.
Enough already. We can find a cure.
Enough already.
We can do better for our kids.
Enough already. We are relying on you.
We can come together to support Children's Cancer Research Fund, a national nonprofit dedicated to ending childhood cancer that is on the front line of breakthroughs. Because
it's enough already.
Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results, and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NFL's preseason begins Thursday with the Hall of Fame game in Canton. The Cardinals will battle the Panthers there. The Bengals are putting on the pads today in Cincinnati. First preseason game for them will be next Thursday, hosting the Detroit Lions. Browns begin preseason play next Saturday against the Chicago Bears. We're 26 days away from actual college football games. Week 0, Saturday, August 29th. Ohio State hosts Ball State in 33 days. Buckeyes begin fall camp Thursday. We'll be live from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center for camp coverage Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. In football, the U.S. men's national team has announced an extension with Mauricio Pochettino. He'll lead Team USA through the 2030 World Cup. In baseball, the trade deadline's tonight at 6. The Tigers dealt 2-time Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers for 3 players. Skubal will make his LA debut tomorrow night at Wrigley Field. This update's sponsored by Roosters. Roosters giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences, tickets, sideline passes, and trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game.
They've all been paid by the Cleveland Browns. This is Bishop and Friends.
20 most interesting will finish in the Big Ten Conference. We'll go Michigan today. We will go Indiana tomorrow. Penn State on Wednesday. Thursday will be Oregon. And Friday will be your beloved Buckeyes of Ohio State. That one we will do live at camp. As for the Wolverines, hit it, fellas.
We'll expand conferences. We'll expand the playoffs, but we'll never, ever expand our interests. Bishop and Friends present the 20 most interesting programs.
The Michigan Wolverines, 20 most interesting, and my goodness, this could go a lot of different ways. Returning starters on offense, they have 7. It's led by Bryce Underwood, the highest priced recruit maybe in the history of college football with the deal that he signed to stay in-house rather than go to LSU. Jordan Marshall returns at running back, Andrew Marsh at wide receiver. Much of the offensive line returns as well. A little bit of a surprise in that there was a massive coaching change, a philosophical change, and they were able to keep a lot of their guys, at least the starters on offense. Defensively, it's going to be starting anew. Just 3 starters back in. They did add some transfers in the transfer portal, as everybody did, including a group of Utah players who came over with Kyle Whittingham from Utah to Michigan. They will be plug-and-play guys. They did lose a bunch of guys as well. Last year, they went 9-4, 7-2 in the Big Ten, lost to Texas in the Citrus Bowl, 41-27. Their recruiting class ranking was 11th. Transfer class ranking was 24th, combined for a 12th overall. Kyle Whittingham comes on. It is his first season in Ann Arbor. He is 177-88 in 21 seasons at Utah. He is one of the better coaches in college football over the last 20, 25 years in terms of what he took Utah, the heights he took Utah to. Now, the thing that's interesting about this is you certainly got the feeling that last year Utah was kind of like, yeah, we're ready to move in a new direction here with Kyle Whittingham. He was ready to go as well. And then this Michigan opportunity kind of comes out of nowhere. We'll never know if Kalen DeBoer was ever serious about Michigan or if he just used it to get a raise and get job stability down in Tuscaloosa. We'll never know. But it ends up with Kyle Whittingham. As a stabilizer, he's about as good as can go. This is, of all of the teams that we've done, and I missed a week of it, but of all the teams that I've been a part of, 20 most interesting, this team has the biggest canyon between positive and negative. I have no clue what to make of Michigan football in 2026. No idea what this is going to look like. I have no idea if Bryce Underwood is going to jive with Kyle Whittingham. I have no idea how much power Kyle Whittingham has. I don't know who hired him. I don't know who he answers to. There was a structure up there, a crooked structure for a long time with Harbaugh through Moore. That is all gone, and Ward Manuel is on the way out. President's change, interim situation there. The leadership void is massive up there. Their schedule is it's very similar to ours in that they wade into it with Western Michigan, then they host Oklahoma. From a Big Ten powerhouse perspective, of course they play us. They are at Oregon on November 14th. They get Indiana at home. They get Penn State at home. And so their toughest games, other than the 2 toughest overall, Oregon and Ohio State, which are on the road, the others are at home in terms of winnable. Again, for me, guys, this is the biggest gap between high ceiling and low floor of all the teams we've done. I have no idea what Michigan's going to look like in 2026. No clue.
You read through that schedule, and I go, well, they could be undefeated all the way through October 24th in that matchup with the Hoosiers, or they could be 500, or they could have 2 wins on that slate, because who knows how they're going to stack up against Iowa or Minnesota. Certainly that Oklahoma game is can they just be competitive against a team that's ready to make a college football playoff or that's ready to make a legitimate push to an SEC championship game appearance. Everybody else kind of seems like especially Penn State, maybe with Iowa. I know they bring back a lot from a roster that was a surprising 9-3 last season, but you have programs that are kind of in the same spot with the expectations going into the season. I mean, Michigan, boy, it's been weird. To think about who actually made the head coaching hire, and was it Ward Manuel? Was it their interim president? And then what were those conversations like? What were the conversations like with Bryce Underwood? Because they've also got a car. They've also got a portal back. I think they got from Colorado State. And so does Kyle Whittingham have the freedom to say, if Bryce Underwood's not playing well, can I pull him?
I have no idea.
What's the hook look like with that?
Race, we're asking, who hired him? Did the board hire him?
Right.
Did Larry Ellison's girlfriend hire him? Did Portnoy hire him? I have no idea.
I would think
that's the motto for Michigan this season, I think, from the general college football standpoint. Michigan football 2026. I have no idea.
No idea.
I would think with your Michigan, and you're looking at this roster from this year, you're going to see a lot of the Ohio State model from the last few years, where that's slow the game down, and then run the football a lot because they have 4 of 5 offensive linemen returning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how good your quarterback is at throwing the football, and I don't know how long he'll be able to hold off Tommy Carr if he does, but we do know Bryce Underwood's supremely athletic. Jordan Marshall, kid out of Cincinnati, is a heck of a running back. And they've got Savion Hyder, who was the number 1 running back in the recruiting class for this year coming up. So I would think if I'm Michigan, I'm trying to run the ball and keep my defense off the field as much as possible with just 3 guys returning on that side of the ball.
I think you nailed it. Hyder coming in is massive. I assume that's how you say his name. Marshall's really good. But now, and then Underwood's ability to scramble, we didn't see much. I don't even know what to make of Bryce Underwood's first year in Ann Arbor. I mean, he won the job. He had highs and lows. He looked lost at times against us, but at the same time, like, you certainly could see the talent that's there. By the way, is Tommy Carr the brother?
I know it's one of Lloyd's grandsons. I don't know. I would have to look that up.
Yeah.
He is. He's the youngest brother of CJ.
Wow. So, okay. So that's a change. Like, I don't know if he goes there. I wonder if he was committed with Sharon or if he came in later. He's not going to play anyway, so that doesn't make too much of a difference. But that's interesting to see that because obviously CJ went to Notre Dame.
Are we sure he's not going to play, though?
I'm pretty confident.
You think Chase Herbstreit's jumping in there?
No, I don't. I would say it'd be Underwood, but didn't they bring in a transfer too?
Yeah, they got a guy out of Colorado State.
Yeah.
Braden Fowler Nicolosi.
So I would say that, look, here's the deal from Kyle Whittingham's standpoint. Kyle Whittingham is going to do it his way, and his way does win. Now, he's going to be honest to himself. The only thing I don't know about from this circumstance, and Angelique will be able to share some light on this when we have her on in 20 minutes, is does Whittingham have complete autonomy to do whatever he wants? Or is he having to answer to board members, boosters in regard to Underwood? It was a massive investment in Bryce Underwood. Like, I assume upon getting the job, it was like, yeah, this is going to work with him. And then how does Kyle manage all of that? It just feels like he just doesn't at all feel like a fit up there to me.
No.
Feels very fish out of water.
Yeah.
It's not Rich Rod up there because he doesn't have a Southern accent and all of that. That really felt awkward, but it's there. I really don't know. I really don't know what to make of it. And I think the Underwood thing in the middle of it is going to be could be a real mess because who's Kyle answering to? That's really what it comes down to. Or does he have complete autonomy? And again, guys, for me, Michigan has the widest swath. I'm with you, Reese. I could see them being undefeated going into Indiana. I could see them losing to Iowa. I can see them losing at Minnesota. Certainly could lose to Oklahoma, who I think should be pretty dang good. They may have 3 losses going into that game in Indiana. They may end up a 500 team. But I could also see them going 9-3. So it's a wide swath for Kyle Whittingham, year one in Ann Arbor. We will get to the Wolverines and the categories coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
Yes, the 4th of July fireworks may be over, but the festivities for America's 250th birthday are still in full swing. Because at America 250 Ohio, we're honoring both America and our state with hundreds of events in all 88 Ohio counties. From historic talks to Ohio-related films to driving trails of discovery. So go to America250Ohio.org to find an event near you, because there's never been a better time to honor this amazing place we all call home. Sponsored by the Ohio History Connection, aired by the OAB and this station.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Get 0% financing for 60 months on new 2026 Tucsons and Santa Fe's. Plus, make no payment for 90 days. Columbus or Dublin or GLexHyundai.com. With True Credit, not all will qualify. End date 3.
Reds fans, the boss, Rick Ross, is coming to Great American Ballpark on Friday, August 14th, as a part of the Ohio Lottery post-game concert series. Join the Reds as they kick off the series against the Marlins and hang out after the game for a live set from Rick Ross. Plus, you can upgrade upgrade your access to a Bit Field Pass for an up-close view of Rick Ross. For tickets and more information, visit reds.com/concerts.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite, too. Extra value meals are back.
For a limited time, get an $8 Big Mac Extra Value Meal, complete with a medium Coke and medium fries. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing. Price of participation may vary.
CME Federal Credit Union wants to beat your current loan rate by 2% on autos and toys. Learn more at cmefcu.org today. Terms apply. Minimum floor rates 4.99% APR cars, 6.50% APR other vehicles. Federally insured by NCUA.
The next chapter of Cleveland Browns football is here, and we want you to be a part of it. In the new world-class enclosed Huntington Bank Field, a new era of Browns football begins in 2029, and your path to being a part of it starts today. Place your deposit right now at newhuntingtonbankfield.com to reserve your spot and be one of the first to choose your seats in the best stadium on planet Earth, our brand new home in Brook Park. To reserve your spot and be one of the first to choose your seats in our brand new state-of-the-art facility.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
At Perkins Local Schools, we wanted to improve our literacy outcomes for our students. The union worked collaboratively with our administration to come up with a solution-driven process to help our students become better readers. We have been able to provide more resources for our teachers and empower our educators to use the best teaching practices to get the best outcomes for our students. My name is Pamela Schertz, and I am a proud member of the Perkins Education Association because strong unions make strong public schools for our students.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, happy Monday. Lots of sunshine for the remainder of the day. Highs right around 82 degrees, but come overnight tonight, lows in the 60s. It's going to feel quite nice tomorrow morning with lower humidity to start off your Tuesday morning. Highs tomorrow, lots of sunshine right around 86 degrees. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldridge, with 97.1 The Fan.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, fine. Categories Michigan. Play it. Play Halo. I'll be damned. I'll be damned if we're going to play that song here. We are not having it, Reese. We are not having it.
Yeah, I think it's it's either 30 seconds or 2 minutes of music that we can play before we're thrown off the air. I think if we get 5 seconds into Hail to the Victors, they'll throw us off the air.
That's right. We're not having it. Not having it. College football 2026 adaptability grade for the Wolverines, Reese.
I'm going to give them a B-, and a lot of this is weighed on the last 12 months of Michigan football because you don't know what it is. You don't know what it's going to be. You don't know who's in charge. You don't know who's running the ship. So they've spent because they have boosters that are enthusiastic. Mm-hmm. We just don't know how enthusiastic are they going to be if Kyle Whittingham's, 2-6 through 8 games. I guess if he's 500 going into that Indiana game, like, do they want him out? And then if he's out, like, how much more chaos does that program get thrown into?
Well, let's just for a second, guys. Do you see any scenario where, like, what would be considered a successful? Like, when we do coach grade too, but like, it kind of goes into the adaptability grade because, like, do you see him there in 2028? I just don't know. So many questions, Bake. Go ahead. 2026 adaptability grade.
I'm going to give them a B because they do have a national championship on their resume 3 years ago, and they do have booster backing, and they are spending. And Bryce Underwood was a big-time recruit, and he came there. However, when you say all that, it probably should be an A or an A+, but they had to cheat to do a lot of it.
Oh, my God.
So,
what they covered up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm being generous by giving them a B, but yeah, they've done well, but they did have to cheat. It's going to be interesting to see how these next couple of years go.
It's going to be fascinating. I think you could make an argument it's an A+ because they did win a national championship. They did cheat to do it. In a way, that's kind of the perfect model of what 2026 college football is. Like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Well, they cheated to the exponentially, but they spent exponentially too. You mentioned Hyder, who's in this year. That's a guy that Ohio State would have loved to have had. They paid for Underwood, so like it all worked. They truly made a deal with the devil, and it worked. And they won a national title, and he got to do Danny Ocean and ride off into the sunset, and now they're dealing in the rubble of it. And so you guys are probably right to give it a B. I have no idea, as you could probably tell, of what's to come from here on out for Michigan. I just have no clue. Uniform brand grade for the Wolverines, Reese.
Personally, I think the uniform's an F. It's a national brand, though, so they get a C+. All that being said, like, Michigan is still a blue blood in the sport, and once they're able, I think, 4 or 5 years to get out from all of this, then things might go back to normal where they are when they are competing for the biggest names with Ohio State. It's probably still going to be Indiana when we talk about 5 years from now in terms of competing for those 4- and 5-star guys. I mean, Bryce Underwood was highly coveted. He was a guy in Michigan he's a guy from Michigan that Michigan had to have. They got him. So yeah, what was I say? C+.
I think I've got to give it an A- because the brand is there. It's well known, and when you see that helmet, you know who it is. I would probably give this an A or an A+ if they would go back to the yellow pants all the time. I can't stand their navy blue jersey over navy blue pants. Go back to the yellow pants with that, and I think it would be higher, but I'm going to give this an A- because I don't like the blue over blue.
So I think the uniform is one. If you were to say, like, give me 5 iconic uniforms in the history of college football, this is one of them. I mean, this is. Hail to the Victors is iconic. I mean, we can hate it, but it's all iconic. So
everybody knows that winged helmet.
Everybody knows it. I mean, it's instantly recognizable. I remember when Threes was doing the show with me, and we would talk about, like, the difference between Penn State and Michigan, because I always kind of viewed them similarly it's not close. Michigan's brand is worth way more than Penn State's is. Way more. So I think that their uniform is probably an A, as much as I dislike them. That part I get. I think right now their brand is an F. I think that is an institution that looks to be in complete and utter chaos across the board. And I think that's part of their brand. I think they covered up a lot of stuff in the Harbaugh regime, obviously, and to Sharon. How much did they know about Sharon Moore, and when did they know it? I mean, so I think overall it's a C+, weighing the A and the F. But it's going to be fascinating to see what comes of all of it. Historical player you'd pick to have on this Michigan team, Reese?
Braylon Edwards was, I think, still the only player to have 1,000 yards receiving in his entire Michigan career. In each of his seasons, he was only there for 3 of them. So I think he'd really help, because that's the one thing for this offense, regardless of who the quarterback is. If they got a guy that can just chuck it up in the air and not bleep it, he's down there somewhere.
Yeah,
Braylon would be a massive help for this team.
So when I was looking into this morning and saw what I think this team is going to be, with a team that runs the football a lot and then a defense that only has 3 starters back, Well, their best player of all time to me is Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
So give me Woodson on the back end of that defense, and then he can go over and help the offense and Bryce Underwood a little bit too.
He's probably the cheat code on this because you get both, and you can return punts if you want to. God, Ohioan too. It's Northwest Ohio, but still, that's a tough one. I was going to go where I like Braylon. Charles Woodson's probably the correct answer, that you get both. Anthony Carter would help too. They need a little bit more weaponry on the outside. You could make an argument for Hutchison, some other defensive players as well, who would be in the mix, because they're going to be a little bit of a sieve on that side of the ball. Would this team get an official visit from Vince Howard?
It's an F. This team wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think he would.
Yeah, I see no scenario. I don't think there are many in the Big Ten that Vince Howard would take a look at. The fictional quarterback from Friday Night Lights, the TV series, who, by the way, played himself into being, and honestly, Michael B. Jordan, pretty damn good, convincing high school football player. Like, really threw a nice ball, looked the part. But no, this is an F, absolutely. Coach grade for Kyle Whittingham. Reese?
As a football coach, he's an A. I have no idea what this is going to look like, so I'll give the grade a B-, because I think they could have done worse, and I don't think they could have done better considering what they're coming out of. So I think if they need a ship steadier, if that's a phrase, he's a good one. He'll be a good one, I think.
Yep.
I'm going B+ here on Whittingham. I really like Whittingham as a coach, and the job he did at Utah for 21 seasons. I'm not sure how many people could have done, would have done, and stayed there, but also his track record in big games when you're playing big-time programs that Michigan's going to play, and you just don't know how he's going to translate to a big-time program, so I give it a B+.
I was trying to think of a situation where a big-time program was kind of in a mess and hired a stabilizer to just get them back to level. Because I think, in a way, that's what Kyle Whittingham is this year at Michigan. I think he's just a stabilizer to be a palate cleanser, to be a restarter, to kind of just calm everything down. How sustainable is this? I have no idea what it'll look like this year. I have no idea. I thought about like Lou Holtz at South Carolina when they hired him, and he came in there kind of a little bit older and just kind of stabilized and chilled, got everything to kind of chill out a little bit. Mark Richt did this. He wasn't as old, obviously, as Kyle is when he took the Miami job. But I think Mark Richt did that at Miami. I think Mark Richt stabilized Miami so Mario Cristobal could take off at Miami. And I think that's what Whittingham's going to be this year. I think it's kind of an A. I think considering everything that's going on up there and has gone on over there, I don't know how they could have done better. I guess DeBoer would have been better because I think he's a hell of a coach, and he could have been someone that was sustainable for a decade. But I think under the circumstances, this is about as good as it's going to get. And from a respectability standpoint, you can't help but respect Kyle Whittingham for what he did at Utah and the way he carries himself. Sliding door moment for Michigan, Reese.
I'll go pretty recently, November 25th, 2023. Number 3 Michigan over number 2 Ohio State, 30-24. Kyle McCord gets picked off with about 25 seconds left to go in the game. Buckeyes missed a field goal going into half that would have made it a 1-point contest. Like the sliding door moment of where does Ohio State moves on, the Big Ten championship, and then does that derail Michigan's ascension to a national championship that season? I mean, so much gets, I think, forgotten about, probably mostly by Buckeye fans because you don't want to, because it's their third straight loss, and in what really became kind of an early Ryan Day career-defining slump. That's pretty big in terms of Michigan football history. When you look back 20 years ago at the 2023 Michigan Wolverines, that's the moment.
I thought about the hiring of Bo Schembechler. I thought about Lloyd Carr leaving and the disaster that happened the next 20 years for Michigan. But I think it's all from Curtis Samuel to losing out on Zach Harrison in the recruiting war with Ohio State, because I think that broke Harbaugh. And it led them to the debacle that they're in right now, but it also led them to that national championship. So I think those things so close together, the Curtis Samuel by inches and Harbaugh, holding up I guess it was JT Barrett by inches, but Samuel scored the touchdown. Harbaugh holding up the 6 inches and Zach Harrison, I think all of that led them to where we are right now with that program.
So I think we're all kind of on the same page. I'm going to go the 2020 season, the COVID season, when they said that they had COVID and didn't want to play. Because Ohio State would have beat them 75-0 that year. And then does Harbaugh even get the 2021 season?
Probably
does he even
not.
get the 2022 season? Like, they would have got bombed by Ohio State in 2020, and they chose not to play the game. That changes everything of the 4 or 5 years that follow, in my opinion. Win it all, make the playoff too soon, or flame out. Unfortunately, there's I have no blanket clue isn't one of the options.
I mean, they're on fire. The program's on fire right now, so I guess does Kyle Whittingham come in with the extinguisher? Just too soon to tell what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think too soon is the correct answer here.
I don't think it's a playoff team, so I think it's too soon or flame out is kind of my guess on it. Someone who does is Angelique Chengelis. She covers Michigan for the Detroit News. She'll join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Summer heats up fast here in Columbus, and bad windows can have a tough time keeping a home cool and can send energy bills through the roof.
I hate to admit it, but we've had some complaints about our windows doing that.
Uh-oh.
I just tell them it's just like being at the beach, minus the water and the beach and the happiness, and you're in your living room. It's gross.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
They say 40 is the new 20, and that's because guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are walking around with the testosterone levels of their 20s. Visit Low T Center, like thousands of other men in Central Ohio already have. Go to fixmylowt.com and book your free T test today.
Life is full of uncertainties. You can't control the economy, the prices at the pump, or the grocery store, and you certainly cannot control the weather. But the one thing you can control is your home's efficiency and comfort. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us help you take back control of your home by insulating your walls with our premium foam. You give us a call today, we'll come out, we'll insulate your walls, and we'll throw in your attic for free. So give us a call today, 529-2440 or usaiinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Getting a speeding ticket can ruin your day. But what about that cyclist or the pedestrian crossing the street? If you hit them while speeding, you'll do more than just ruin their days. That's why tickets are more than just a fine. They're a second chance. A reminder of what's on the line when you're behind the wheel. You won't get a do-over every time. So take this as your sign to follow the speed limit every drive. Speeding slows you down. Paid for by NHTSA.
Whether it's water heater trouble, clogged or leaky pipes, or sub pump worries, Logan Services has you covered. With service calls for just $79. We're fast, friendly, and here to help you with your plumbing projects. Logan Services.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
20 most interesting programs. The Michigan Wolverines on the list today. When we talk Michigan football, we love to do it with our great friend of the program, Angelique Chengelis, covers Michigan at the Detroit News and joins us now. I guess I'll start with a relatively simple one that might be complicated. Who's in charge up there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, with Ward Manuel taking the buyout, he's still on staff technically. I mean, President Grasso, who's also going to be on the way out. I mean, Michigan's looking for a president now and an AD. I mean, it makes for an interesting duo. But Grasso said that they are going to implement these suggestions from the investigation from the firm in Chicago, and he wanted Ward to stay on to help him implement those things. So I don't know, for the next 6 months, I mean, Ward's not resigning until December 31st. So he's still around and making some of those decisions with an also outgoing president.
Angelique, what is the alignment like in the board in terms of the people who are shaping you're talking about president on the way out, athletic. I mean, these are the massive decision makers at a university. And so who are the people shaping what Michigan football / athletics are going to be going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's eight regions and they're elected, and Michigan State has the same situation with their board of trustees. And it's, I think there's only 2 states that have elected boards for public universities. And it makes for an interesting dynamic. There's a mix of Democrats and Republicans, leans heavily toward the Democrats. And I don't know if that factors into anything like this, but I think it probably does in terms of selecting a president. And they had selected one several months ago, and unfortunately, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So, they had to switch gears, unfortunately, and restart the process. I'm told it's a little bit, that there's a short list right now, and I think it's something that they want to act on quickly. But again, it's these regents who are elected who make these decisions, and it is an interesting group. And I was talking to Jim Hackett. I think you're familiar with Jim Hackett. I mean, he was Michigan's interim AD who hired Harbaugh to Michigan, and we were talking about this the other day about how he serves on all these boards. He was, the Ford CEO. And the difference is these are people who are appointed, and they're not always like-minded, but they are, and they work as a team. And he finds that very different to these circumstances, like at Michigan and Michigan State, with boards that are elected, and maybe it's a popularity contest, whatever, and they don't always mesh well. So I think that's sort of, it's something, it's a discussion that's come up quite a bit. Like, is it time to move away from this and to have appointed boards like you do have, like, that Jim Hackett serves on, that a lot of people serve on across the country for different businesses?
Boy, fascinating. And then on top of this, I'm watching media, and I obviously, like, you're aware that Kyle Whittingham's the coach at Michigan, but I see his press conference in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days, and I just go, oh my God, Kyle Whittingham is the coach at Michigan. Like, you never thought he would coach anywhere other than Utah. How did they land on Whittingham? What is the first 6 months or so been like with him in charge? I've kind of equated it down here as a little bit of a palate cleanser. What's kind of the feeling up there of him?
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to describe it. I mean, I think everybody knows what kind of upheaval there was when Schroenmoor was fired December 10th. And I think a lot of people, there was are they going after Dillingham in Arizona State? And frankly, I thought he was probably a little young for this role. And I'm not being an ageist, but it felt like you had a young guy in Schroen. And maybe it was time to get back to a more of an old school coach who really emphasized discipline. And I'm not saying Dillingham doesn't. I don't know. But I think that they needed someone who had this presence. And the situation at Utah sounds interesting too, from what I've read. They were thrilled with him moving on, and he said he always said he would retire by, I believe, is 68 or 70, and he wasn't ready, and that's why he said, I'm not retiring when he made his statement at Utah. He wanted to keep coaching, and here he landed at Michigan, and it does feel like a palate cleanser, as you described, and the players really, at least what they've told us, is they've really responded to his approach and the being uber disciplined. But I think they've also really enjoyed the fact that his practices are extremely efficient. They're not like, they don't drag on and on. I mean, they are done, and they have their film sessions, they have their meetings, and they're done. They don't have to be in the building till midnight to work hard. And I think that they are responding to that. And I ran into Ron English down at the bowl game, and he had been Michigan's defensive coordinator, has been around the Big Ten, and he told me, he said, people are going to like this guy because he is old school. He'll be reminiscent of the Lloyd Carr era, and I think there are a lot of people who certainly you don't want to go back in time, but I think it's probably a good idea to bring back that kind of coach at this time at Michigan.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it was appropriate. So then the next thing becomes like, okay, on the field, what style of play, what we've also, and we're very familiar, saw him in a Rose Bowl at Utah and very familiar with everything he did at Utah. By the way, those short practices, that sounds a lot like Urban Meyer. That's how Urban was. No wasted minutes, get in, get out. So there's a lot of that. So Urban in Ann Arbor is going to be crazy to see him up there. I heard Kyle say he's welcome in everything except Ohio State week. That whole thing's going to be nuts. But in terms of Bryce Underwood and offense, obviously a massive investment in Bryce. He had an up and down freshman year. What have you seen in terms of him this year? Because I'm assuming whoever they were going to hire as coach, it was like, we got to make this work with this kid.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, they spent a lot of money to bring Bryce Underwood to Michigan, and I think it was, you brought up Urban. It was Kyle Whittingham's appearance on Urban's podcast when he said he really didn't have a quarterback coach last year. He didn't have a designated coach, and he was working with Josh Sinagoga, who was an analyst at Michigan, who's now a defensive analyst at Tennessee. And so he did have that, but he didn't have a lot of coaching. He didn't have a lot of attention on building his game and working on his footwork. And I think you saw those things deteriorate a little bit at the end of last season. And Whittingham now says, he looks at film, it looked like that Bryce was running for his life a lot of the times. And so putting some of that on the offensive line. But Bryce has worked with Jordan Palmer this offseason out in California, and I think people have seen the pictures of Joe Burrow and Bryce on the field at the same time. So, Palmer works with a lot of NFL guys and college guys. And he's got Coy Detmer here, and they all seem to really like Coy Detmer, young guy who can really relate. And, we didn't see much of Bryce in the spring game, and it wasn't great what we did see. Mm-hmm. But Kyle Whittingham says you cannot gauge the growth he made based on that brief appearance in the spring game. He insists that Bryce has made a lot of improvements. And, I got to believe you need more time than that to make some of the improvements that he needed. And, they keep emphasizing he was 17 when he started the season, then turned 18. But a lot of guys are young when they start at quarterback or whatever skill position. So they're giving him a lot of grace. And but you got Tommy Carr there now. He's a freshman, and he's firmly the number 2 guy right now. And they want to win games, so we're going to see how this plays out. I'm going to be really curious to see what kind of steps Bryce Underwood has taken, because they do want him to run more this season in Jason Beck's offense, and it's something that he does do well. Bryce does well, but Whittingham says they don't want him running 25 times a game, but like 8 to 10 times with some designed runs. So it'll be a new look in a sense, but Utah ran the ball well. They were number 2 in the country, so you're going to see more of a Michigan offense in that sense, running the ball.
Yeah, and pretty loaded at running back, so that will feed into that. Talking to the spectacular Angelique Chengelis, covers Michigan for the Detroit News as good as anybody in the country, covers any beat. Let me get you out of here on this one, because we're doing 20 most interesting, Angelique, and I said this about Michigan. To me, that from 30,000 feet, they have the biggest canyon of success and failure this year. I really don't know what they're going to be. I could see them at 500 or slightly under. I could see them 9-3. Mm-hmm. Maybe I just don't have any idea. How are you going to cover them? What standard are you going to hold Michigan football to this year on the field? And what will success look like for you for Michigan in 2026?
Look, I think the ceiling in my mind is 9 wins for Michigan. This is a tough schedule. It is a new staff. There's a lot of new here, and I know that Kyle Whittingham said 21 seasons as a head coach. It's not saying he can't do this job, but it is new. He's playing in a new conference, and a lot of talent here. And I'm sitting at 8-4, and I could argue 7-5. That's how I look at it. I think that Michigan. I think one thing Whittingham did last week at Big Ten Media Days was tamp down a little bit. He was saying, if we're playing meaningful games at the end of November, that's a good thing. And then he was asked to clarify that. And he made it, he said, look, this is year 1. And then he sort of projected to year 2, like saying, I think that's the year that we need to really look at. And that's where you're going to see some great strides. And I don't think he was saying, no, Michigan can't win this year, but just, relax expectations. If they don't make the playoff, I'm not going to be surprised. I just don't see that this year. And there is talent. It's very young on offense, but there is talent there. And, Jay Hill came in and said he's going to run the most complicated defense in the country. And can these guys grasp that right away? Time will tell, but I think that there's still a lot of unknowns, and one of them being Bryce Underwood. And how he performs this season. And I think we'll know more about where this team is going after the Oklahoma game, and see what kind of performance he has and this team as a whole. But, I'm looking at 8-4 and 9 being the ceiling.
You're the best. Thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it.
enjoy the season. Looking forward to it.
Going to be fun. Angelique Chengelis covers Michigan at the Detroit News on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Get you 3 things on a Monday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan. Ohio State football. Training camp report.
And this report is brought to you by Safe Light Auto Glass and by Bob's Discount Furniture. After winning a national championship 2 seasons ago, the year ended last year in a disappointing mode for Ohio State and head coach Ryan Day, who talked about the lessons that his team and his coaching staff tried to learn from going into 2026.
Well, you take a lot of things. Every year you look at the things that have gone well, and then you look at the things that came up short. And I think when you're chasing small margins like we are, you have to identify the things that need to get fixed and fix them. The easy thing to do is do nothing or overreact. Where the real work is really identifying what needs to get fixed and then make that change. And so I won't get into all those things, but yeah, there's a lot of things that needed to get addressed and will continue to get addressed. And sometimes you don't know if those decisions were right until you get all the way to the end of the season.
We'll have more after this.
Bob's Discount Furniture has the furniture you've waited 250 years for. We've got power reclining sofas as low as $7.99, 5-piece dining sets as low as $3.99, Bobo-pedic mattresses for as low as $2.99, and of course, feature-packed bestsellers like my Playday sectional with pop-up sleeper sofa. So stop in or shop mybobs.com to see where America shops for furniture. Oh, my Bob! Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Light Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safe Light Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
As is usually the case to start a football season, all coaches come up with certain sayings, phrases, mantras, whatever, to get ready for a coming campaign. Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes no different in how they're voicing their approach for 2026.
We use the term VUCA, V-U-C-A, which is a military term, which means volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And so, in order to attack those times, you have to make decisions quickly. You have to be decisive. You have to then identify what's gone right, what's gone wrong, and then continue to adapt over time and not just do what's easy and throw up your hands and get frustrated. And so I think we've done that. I'm excited about where this season's going. And now we're getting back to what matters the most, and that's football. And so as much change that's gone on across the offseason, we're back to what matters the most, and that's playing the game.
And the Buckeyes will begin practice this week, getting ready for the season opener, Labor Day weekend against Ball State. We'll have another report tomorrow. This is Paul Keels on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
Are you ready to sail, Buckeye Nation? Join us February 19th to February 26, 2027, as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer out of Barbados on the Silver Sea, Silver Ray. Meet more than 35 Buckeye greats plus some of your favorite current Buckeyes, all while making memories and helping beat cancer. You don't want to miss this ultimate Buckeye fan experience. We can't wait to see you on board. Let's celebrate 20 years of making a difference. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com for more information.
Paul Keels here, voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeye MVP membership upgrade for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash, just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, raceway on the poll today.
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, are you okay with a batter bunting during a perfect game? This was yesterday during Cleveland's 5-0 win over the Diamondbacks. Gavin Williams, I think he put down his 15 batters. I think he struck out 10 in yesterday's game, but he was throwing a perfect game. And so in the 6th inning, it was, I think, their catcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks went out. He was the first guy up in the inning, and he tried to bunt the first pitch he saw. And that's against one of the unwritten rules in the sport. And so Guardians fans online, Stephen Vogt, and their Guardians' third base coach was mad too. So they're all throwing a hissy fit at the Diamondbacks.
Rocchio wasn't happy in the field. Austin Hedges didn't like it.
In the 6th, that's fine.
So 57% say yes, that they are okay with it, per the Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. And I agree with the 56.
If it's in the 9th or if it's in the 8th, I mean, that's a little different. But in the 6th inning? Come on.
Yeah, you're down 5 runs. You're not getting anything going. Gavin Williams is having a day on you. Get on base however you can.
Who in the 6th inning is even thinking about a perfect game? Like that doesn't even come into your head until you get to the 7th, I feel like.
Apparently they were.
Jeez.
You should not let it in your head.
No, it's way too early.
To stretch time.
At least get to the 7th.
I mean, just do it like the old days and plunk him. Don't fight him in between the rain delays. Just next time up, there's no perfect game on the line. Boom, right between the shoulders.
Tim Tawa was the player. He was He was their outfielder. He eventually, I think, on the 3rd pitch, reached on a single.
Okay.
So I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Time for 3 things.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, so first day, number 1 for me, first day of football practice for NBC in high school, the rising freshmen. They practice from 4:30 to 9:30. So I show up to pick him up at 9:30 at night on Saturday night. He does not reach me until 10 o'clock. Like almost the rest of the entire team is gone. It is him and one other freshman, his best buddy. They are there until 10 o'clock. I said, and they come out and they're like laughing, giggling. I said, what are you doing? Did you have fun? They're like, yeah. I said, well, what took so long? We had to take ice baths. I said, you're 14. You don't need an ice bath. I've seen 17-year-old, 280-pound offensive linemen come out of here without ice baths. You can't possibly be sore. You're too young to even be sore. And then I said, well, let them have a little fun. They want to act like big shots and have ice baths. I guess I'll let them.
It's a little early.
Crazy.
But I understand if they see like some of the older players getting in the ice tub after, they're probably wanting to emulate that. So no harm, no foul there. But yes, for the time perspective, maybe don't do it at 9:45 on a Friday night. Bo, congratulations to your Montana State Bobcats. The defending FCS champions received 57 of 57 possible first-place votes and lead the FCS preseason top 25 poll. Montana is 2, South Dakota State 3, Illinois State 4, Tarleton State comes in at number 5. You're going to get the preseason for the FBS out next Friday at noon.
I'll tell you this, Montana State, especially Montana State, are going to be an interesting litmus test for what is the better way, because North Dakota State went to, I think, the Mountain West, so they're not in 1AA anymore. Montana State won it last year. Both have won national titles. Montana State is now flush with cash because of all of the Yellowstone money that's come into Bozeman. So they're pretty loaded right now, and I'll be very curious to see if they hang, because you could argue they're in a better spot even than Wyoming, which is a Division I team that financially they're better off than they are. So it's going to be interesting.
The not-so-great offseason for the Columbus Blue Jackets continued this morning with the news that Jackets insider Jeff Svoboda will not be returning. He'd spent 8 years as the Jackets insider. I've known Jeff since 2010 when I was in broadcasting school. Some of the kids that I went to school with were interning on the Ohio State beat. Jeff was on that Ohio State beat. We spent many a night in planks together, all of us hanging out as young, aspiring broadcasters. And kind of like Bob McGilligan, you can't find a better human than Jeff Svoboda. He's just awesome. You heard him on T-Bone and Tyvis weekly. We had him on when he recreated the Gronk photo this year at Ohio Stadium, and that was fun to talk about. So another loss for the Columbus Blue Jackets this offseason in the fact of a good human is leaving the organization.
Yeah, I'll just make this my number 2. I've known Jeff 20 years, like back from I'm pretty sure he was with Buckeye Sports Bulletin back in those days, but one of the best dudes you're ever going to find. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know if it was him or them. I don't know any of that. But what I do know is you lose too many good people, it starts to reflect on who you are. And he is a spectacular human.
Second thing, 90 years ago today, August 3rd, 1936, Jesse Owens won gold in the 100-meter dash at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Happy anniversary to one of the greatest moments, not only in American sporting history, but in Buckeye history.
Couldn't have said it better.
Take
Number
that,
3.
Hitler.
Yeah, take that. Number 3 for me quickly, Mobland's really good. I watched the first 2 episodes of that. That's really fun. I'm into that.
Final, imagine Mobland without Tom Hardy, and that was what they were trying to do.
No!
Because he got into a tiff with, no. Oh, I forget her name. But yeah, picture that show without him, you can't.
No, he needs to be there. He's great. Yeah.
Third thing for me, don't go anywhere on your Monday afternoon. Rothman and Ice coming up next. They want to hear from you. The floor is yours. They're taking your calls at 1 o'clock. Adam King stops by at 1:30, and then Ian Fitzsimmons will join them for some college football talk at 2:30.
You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Men, when it